This is episode 3 of The Drop. I'm Nick Reed with my main man, Morgan Smith, Mr. Gameday, Zach Doty, Cam Silverman behind the camera, Brandon Lewis, and we got a guest in the house tonight, or today, I guess, Frank Sides. How we doing today, fellas?
Doing good. Not as good as I would be if Cowboys were playing the Super Bowl.
Cowboys, well, you probably won't be doing good for a very long time. But
I'll be doing better than you. You've never had a team playing the Super Bowl.
I actually have. When I was a Falcon fan before I retired, I watched a very, very, very long Super Bowl.
I'd rather not go to the Super Bowl than have what happened to y'all happen to me.
Really? You'd rather not go to the Super Bowl?
I'd rather not go to the Super Bowl than be down 28-3.
I guess, that's just...
And be up 28-3 and be a meme the rest of my career.
Yeah. That's the heart of a Cowboy fan right there. He'd
I don't know.
not go to the Super Bowl than to go to and have a chance to actually win it.
I mean, it just is what it is.
That's
that's the truth. I'd rather not be up 28-3 and lose in the Super Bowl. I'd rather just not
go. Hey, we know
Weren't they in their home stadium too?
Was it? I think it was. No, yeah. It wasn't at home. That
I don't think it was
tragic.
No.
It don't matter. That Super Bowl dismantled the entire organization. No one's around.
Oh yeah.
No one's around.
The owner walked down on the field because he just knew there's no way.
Yeah, he almost had a heart attack. Had to get oxygen. It was tragic. It was really a tragic situation. But we all know I have no team. Doty's a Packer. Morgan's a Cowboy. Frank, where do you live?
I mean, I was born and raised here, so I'm a Cowboy fan.
People have loyalty.
Yeah.
An awful reason, honestly.
Yeah, that's really a tragic reason to be a fan, I think.
You're
almost trapped in the fandom. That's not cool. But we had some great games yesterday. We want to start it off with Eagles 49ers or Bengals Chiefs. What y'all want to do?
Start off Eagles 49ers. They were the first game.
Yeah, 2:00 game because it wasn't the prime time. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Eagles come out on top. What y'all see out there?
Do you think it's the same if Brock stays healthy the entire time, or?
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, 49ers had no chance of winning that game as soon as Brock Purdy got hurt.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even know Josh Johnson wasn't in a retirement home yet.
Me either.
That's wild.
That was wild.
He's played for, 13 different teams? 14 different teams.
17 if you include, like, the XFL and the USFL or whatever, too.
Arena,
that dude is a journeyman for real.
For real.
Real life.
And then he comes in, gets hurt on purpose, it looks like. Like, hey, I thought y'all paid me to watch.
But he's
no,
brittle.
You didn't say nothing about it. Didn't say nothing about playing.
Instant concussion. He just comes in. I mean, it was rough.
And then Purdy goes back out.
Yeah.
Well, never throws a pass.
They didn't have an option, though, I think.
Man, anything's better than what they were doing.
Exactly.
Put Christian McCaffrey back there.
Broken ribs?
No, elbow. Yeah, so he goes in and, like, that fumbles happen first drive. He gets hit in his wrist and he goes to throw it, and I think he tears his UCL as he's going to, like, make that second effort in the throw. Yeah. And he just couldn't throw a pass. The only 2 passes that he threw were for like maybe a yard. I mean, it was awful. And they couldn't do anything. They just ran the ball the entire time. The one time that they tried to throw it without him, Brock Purdy threw it not Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey threw it pretty far. It was just nobody was there. So, I mean, it was tough for sure.
Hey, I said it the week before. I thought that the Eagles looked way stronger last week than they had the entire season, with or without Jalen. And then yesterday, they just come out and showed me again that I think they're the team to beat.
I mean, that had to have been the easiest road to a Super Bowl ever for a team. I mean, 49ers were – the Giants shouldn't have been in there anyway. And then the 49ers, they were playing with a 4-string quarterback, and then they were playing with no quarterback.
I mean, I think the Purdy situation, it happened, but I don't think that didn't sing the song of the game.
Yeah, I suspect the outcome would have been the same. It just would have been quite as ugly. And I'm kind of tired of the Brock Purdy stuff already. Shanahan is such a brilliant offensive mind that these quarterbacks don't have to play quarterback. The way he schemes the offense, your first read's open. Nick, you could make those throws. You just could. You don't have to read the defense.
I mean, why couldn't Garoppolo do it.
He did.
Well,
Garoppolo played
why-
terrible.
Just in the
this year.
game, same game last year.
I was more confused of why they didn't like resort to like a triple option type
That was their only
offense after
shot.
that.
Yeah, I
I mean,
don't know.
you have Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, all these offensive talents, all of these athletes. They don't have to be stuck in one position.
Yeah.
You can run that style of offense.
Well,
And I mean, if they go out and win that game because of that offense, I mean, I think that could change the way that we see the NFL moving
But
forward.
I doubt they don't.
I agree.
Either
I don't.
way.
They ain't practicing that offense.
Yeah, that,
I mean, they
But
weren't winning that
that's
football
crazy to
game.
me with all of that offensive talent that you have, though.
exactly.
I
But
mean,
you
but-
see at the end of the game there, like, not the end of the game, but in that second half, they did start doing more wildcatish type of situation and stuff. But I just don't think that stuff works in the NFL. It's just everybody on that defense is good. Like when the Wildcat,
Yeah.
you're dependent on the weak link to be out there, but there's really not that many weak links.
Yeah, and this one, as brilliant as Shanahan is kind of on him. You got a minute and a half left, and a literal scrub playing quarterback. You can't put him in that situation. He turns it over, and the game's over. I mean, that's it. Can't
That's
win 'em
it.
all, though.
But I think
Again, and I say scrub quarterback in the context of
NFL players.
NFL players.
Yeah. I'm glad you clarified that out because I think a lot of people always say that. Like people are like, oh, he's trash, but we're watching them make millions of dollars doing it.
So I mean, while we're on it, what happens next year? Is Trey Lance looking for a new job? I mean,
I don't think so.
you got Purdy under a rookie deal for what, one more year?
Well, to be honest with you, they may catch a break
Couple more
here.
years.
He's going to have
Depending
Tommy
on what
John
he signs.
surgery and won't even be available, so they don't have to make that decision probably.
But it again comes back to Tom Brady. What's Tom Brady going to do? I mean, if Tom Brady decides that he wants to play in San Francisco, then I mean that adds a new hat into the game and makes the quarterback room even more complicated.
Exactly.
So is Garoppolo gone for sure?
Garoppolo's
Oh,
gone
absolutely,
for sure. I think
absolutely.
But I just think Purdy's play makes him, and then with going under surgery, makes him also a good like little trade piece to slide in there too. Like, yeah, Tom, come over here. We'll give y'all Purdy and whoever, or in a pick or whatever it might be.
The exact same scenario played out in New England when Brady missed those games. Garoppolo came in, performed well. I think they traded him for a second. You know what I mean? And then the GOAT comes back in and
That's what I'm saying. I think they've kind of made it that Lance is going to be their guy, almost in the media.
like I
in San
said,
Fran.
you don't need a gifted defensive reading quarterback. You just need somebody that can make the first read, make the throw. And Trey Lance is objectively a better athlete than Brock Purdy is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that may be the direction they want to go. That's why they've been a top 3 pick on the kid. So who knows? But if it were me, I'm not counting on Brock Purdy being the next Tom Brady. It's just not happening. I'm sorry.
But he could be for somebody else. I don't think he will be for San Fran. I think he's out of there. And their team's so athletic, I think Trey Lance just fits
Sure.
into their better than
We got
Garoppolo,
to talk about
too.
the Eagles. Like, they're going to be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we saw Dallas probably should have beat this San Francisco team, and the Eagles are infinitely better on the offensive line, better skill position players, better defense, objectively a top 5 quarterback. Like, the 49ers weren't winning that football game.
And I think that Jalen Hurts didn't even play his best game.
Didn't need
that
to.
that was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was probably one of the worst games that I've seen Jalen Hurts play. Just because I mean he wasn't making all of his passes, he wasn't able to get outside of the pocket as much as he wanted
They
to
probably should
because
have took him out and put the backup in.
yeah, and they did later on.
He only threw for 120 yards.
Yeah, they probably should have let
Who-
the
how
backup
much?
spin in the second half.
120 yards.
Yeah, I mean, but he averages like 325 against great defenses.
Yeah.
Like he's an incredible quarterback.
But what makes him so
was sitting home like, hey, I don't seen this before.
what makes him so valuable is the threat that your quarterback can keep it on
Yeah.
the read option and take it 80 yards. It just opens up the run game that we don't have that luxury in Dallas. Most places don't.
And the running back situation in Philadelphia is incredible. I mean, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and I can never remember 14's name. It's not Quez Watkins.
It's Kenneth Gainwell.
Him. They have those 3 backs that are able to do so much and create open space because of that offensive line. That offensive line is just incredible.
And you know what's going to happen. They get a top 10 pick because of a trade they made. They're going to pick up the elite edge guy and then pick at 30 or 31 and Bijan Robinson's going to fall to him or something. It's just going to get worse and worse for Cowboy fans.
Hey, so randomly, I got a random stat for y'all. Garner Minshew had 2 carries last night.
What?
Yeah, why is Garner Minshew
2
running the
kneels.
ball?
They're kneels.
Oh,
Those-
yeah. I
those-
forgot.
those
Yeah,
go
yeah.
down.
Did he come
carries.
in Neil?
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
Hold up, did I miss
It's like,
something?
what? I don't remember him coming
came,
in.
He came in at the end and handed it off, and then he took a couple kneels.
I about to
And those
say,
get counted as carries,
I about to say, what game was I watching?
depending on if you
We have
lose
back-to-back
yardage.
years where 2 Texas high school quarterbacks are playing in the Super Bowl. first time ever 2 black starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl.
I think it's the first time ever 2 kids from Texas are squared off against each other.
No, it was last year as well.
Yeah, because we had a. Well, no. Joe Burrow was in it last year.
Yeah, it was Burrow versus
Is
Stafford.
it first time?
This is the first time 2 Texas quarterbacks are playing each other in the Super Bowl.
There was a lot of Texas players in it last year. There's a lot in it this year as well. But definitely the 2 quarterbacks, this is the first time. Also, Jalen Hurts' agent, first black female agent to have a quarterback go to the Super Bowl.
Very nice.
First black female agent to have a quarterback go to the Super Bowl.
We're stretching.
Starting quarterback? Yeah, I think you're stretching on
No,
that.
Quarterback, period. I read it this.
I mean, that's just, I don't even know how somebody would find out
Jalen Hurts is doing this little Q-Dog thing and all that. I read it this morning.
Is there somebody sitting at ESPN looking for things to talk about?
They're the ones that posted it. So.
That don't seem like that big of a deal.
They're the ones that posted it. So, hey.
I mean.
Hey, it is what, take it for what you want to take it for.
Next thing you know, it's the first time 2 quarterbacks, ate at Waffle House the week before.
I mean, we do. Nobody does it. I know, Frank, your sports baseball. Nobody does it worse than baseball. We get to the playoffs, and they're saying, this is the first time there's a guy up to bat in the 7th inning with the baby eating a hot dog in the 5th row. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we see that.
Hey, baseball's so boring, they have to come up with stuff
baseball
like that.
is going to have their first female official manager in the minor leagues this year. So, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Breaking that glass ceiling, huh?
Stay on task here. How have we made it to 2023, and this is the first time 2 black quarterbacks are playing in the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
Let's just see who all the great black quarterbacks were. What teams did they have to get to the Super Bowl? They didn't. I mean, Mike Vick, he almost made it once with the Eagles.
Definitely not on them. Like Vince Young, if he'd come around nowadays, it'd be a whole different ball game. Instead, he goes to Jeff Fisher's offense, and his ceiling's 8 wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fans ran him out of Tennessee, but that's another story. Well, Bengals.
While we're on it, though, how about Trent Williams?
Oh
my goodness!
Does this dude have a second career in the WWE or what?
Hey, yes,
dude,
he does.
I would want to see a fight between Trent Williams and Ndamukong Suh.
Hey, they were face to face for a second.
Exactly, and that's why I brought it up. They were squared off, talking trash to each other. I would pay to see that fight.
The Titans, for real.
Let me tell y'all a Trent Williams story. I believe first ever Pro Bowl when they were still doing it in Hawaii. I don't know the specifics. I do know Trent Williams walked into a bar. Somewhere along the way, somebody hit him in the head with, I'm going to just say, a Jack Daniels bottle, like the big bottle. It doesn't even break. And Trent Williams, it cuts his head open, couldn't play in the game, but evidently Trent Williams went ham in that bar.
Oh, I believe it.
From experience, that might have been Crown Royal bottle.
Can't have a mic over there?
No.
Oh.
There was
we just pick him up though. I mean,
there was some determination in that toss.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. And a little frustration as well,
that's
too.
More frustration.
Well, I mean, the dude wasn't. I mean, why were they still holding on to this dude?
Exactly.
I don't get it. Yeah.
That went on way too long.
Way too long. And I think that's why
Trent Williams just like, I've had enough of it.
I think that's why he got ejected too, because what are you doing in the pile? What are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
So my Trent Williams story is he was late for a football camp. And the reason he was late is because Lil Wayne didn't return his plane in time. That's the world they're living in.
Yeah, that's a whole different world, man. But shout out to Trent Williams, man. We got Frank on here today. Obviously, Longview game day. What's it like, man? This is a few years in a row. There's been some Longview guys, playing the Super Bowl. You and Morgan, y'all got ties to that. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's really cool. They just put out athlete after athlete. It's a big school.
It's a yearly thing for Longview.
I wouldn't be surprised if we're actually seeing a couple of them in real time.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. We know getting to the Super Bowl depends on more than just the one player, but yeah, you got to think there's a few guys at Longview right now.
The more kids you put in the league, the
exactly.
higher your odds are that you're going to have somebody in the Super Bowl.
Exactly, man. Well, some more Texas guys, well, at least one, right? White House playing in the same district as Doty's beloved Texas High. Bengals Chiefs. Great game last night. Best game of the day, by far for me. But what y'all see out there?
That fourth quarter was rough. I just can't get.
I just don't know how the referees need to be like full-time employees at this point.
I think so.
Yes.
I don't really understand some of the things I saw.
That was tragic. What happened?
like, how does this
everything
happen?
in that fourth quarter. I mean, they were bad in the Philadelphia game too. I mean, but between the Devontae Smith catch that should not have been a catch, the punter hitting the wire. I mean, there was just a whole bunch of stuff in that game too. That first quarter was weird itself. But I mean, in this game it was even worse, and it was clearly going the Chiefs' way.
I feel like at this level, aren't all scoring plays reviewed anyway?
They're supposed to be.
Like, how does they not catch that?
But I think that's the thing now. Like, I think we're looking at the refs a lot of it too. But I mean, in real time, it's hard to catch this stuff. I think we need to be talking about.
They have fucking 150 freaking camera angles.
The Devontae wasn't a scoring play. It was just a catch, and then they ran up, and they ran up. He was like, yeah, let's run, hurry up, because they needed to score quick, and then they just ran a play. But
yeah, like that's a situation where they need the college rules, like the eye in the sky, to say, hey guys, 35-yard completion in the biggest game of the year. Let's take a break and make sure that he caught it. But
do you know that there's a chip in the ball?
I actually do know that. Yes.
How do they not use that more?
That's a good question. Like instead of using the chip in the ball and the technology soccer uses, they use the eyes of a 78-year-old man to spot the ball. It doesn't make any sense.
You have this chip in the ball, and I know that it becomes a question of like, oh, where is the chip in the ball, and like a matter of how do you line that up with the exact yard markers.
Their argument is they don't know when you blow the whistle. The chip doesn't know when you blow the whistle, when you blow the play dead, or like when your forward momentum stops, or you know what I mean, like. That's their argument for it, but I really don't know what exactly they're using this data for.
Exactly.
Because it's not for the game.
How far the ball travels during the course of a game. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they're not using it to spot the ball, then what is it in there for?
Maybe they're using it for, like, advanced metrics.
No, he said Madden. That really could be.
And that's what it is. I mean,
maybe they want to know the quarterback's velocity.
Exactly. And that's all it is, because you look at the stats later on Twitter, and it was like, oh, hey, he did this and this and this. And it was like, oh, well, if you look at the chip in the ball, it didn't actually get there. And I was like, that would have been great information during the game.
When you see those next-gen stats where the running back 18.3 miles an hour, that's probably where it's coming from, because the ball's moving the same speed as the running back. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's just...
I don't believe that. There's got to be, because his arm's going back and forth.
I think,
I mean, it's going to mess it up. I'm just saying. It's going to mess it up.
How about this?
It's going to be faster going forward, and it's going to be slower going backwards.
I don't know about that. I mean,
there's some way. There's got to be some way they're doing it.
Makes a lot of sense.
But I just knew this game.
Put a football outside of a car while you're moving. You know what I mean? Do the same thing.
I knew this game was going to come down to the wire.
Yeah.
Whether it was scripted or not, I got a text message from Cam at the very beginning of or no, that was in the Eagles game when he was like, man, I think this is all scripted.
Yeah.
You know
As
what I'm saying?
As a football fan, I'm glad that Kansas City won, because the Eagles would absolutely drag the Bengals.
I think so too.
That's offensive line.
Yeah, that offensive line was
they would
rough.
destroy it.
Fletcher Cox and Dominican Sue.
And that was a big thing that was like the storyline coming into this game is, can the Bengals offensive line hold up? And if they can, then it's going to be a good day for the Bengals. But, I mean, very clearly early on, I think 3 sacks in the first half, maybe even more.
Yeah, I think it was 4.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough show, and they cleaned it up at halftime to get them back in that game. But, I mean, just everything that happened
in a row, man. Like, why do they have to wait till halftime to clean it up? Why does this offensive line suck so bad?
I don't know.
I
mean, they had a lot of injuries. I mean, Lyle Collins being out for the season definitely hurts. But, I mean, you gotta develop these guys and make them better. And I mean, you can clearly tell that is the weak point in this Bengals team. And so you have got to develop that better.
And I think that's the developing part is what they're trying to do. They've got to, that's kind of like their mantra in Cincinnati right now is that we're going to draft these guys in and we're going to build our team and we don't have to go get, let's just say, a Jason Peters who, and bring them in on our O-line. We're going to build these guys up. We made it to the Super Bowl last year with these guys. We're going to do it again. Yeah. Obviously, they lose their best one early. And then it's just they still make it to the championship game, with this O-line. So I think they're just going to keep working on these guys. Maybe bring in a new guy in the draft, or pick up a guy this offseason. But I mean, they have the team to do it.
Oh yeah,
they got to finish.
A bunch of offensive weapons. I mean, they could probably work on the secondary a little bit, but I mean, that defensive line and their linebacker core are pretty good. And I mean,
the biggest problem is we're getting closer and closer to Burrow needing that franchise extension. We're talking $48 million a year by the time it rolls around, and Not
Might
many
as well
teams,
go to the
if any,
freaking Browns. They'll pay you.
can win with a quarterback taking up
Fully
that much of
guaranteed.
the
Well,
salary.
since he has came out and said that they're obviously not a big paying franchise, but I mean, Joe Burrow is going to be worth it for them, and so I mean that's definitely going to hurt whenever it comes to spending money on other talent, but.
And that's what that window
And
is so crucial.
Yeah, we got to talk about Mahomes. Like, no professional athlete in history has ever played the week after suffering a high ankle sprain. So if he's really playing on a high ankle sprain, it's the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Like, he shouldn't be able to walk right now.
I mean, he was hurting last night. But
Yeah.
we know they're taking all the necessary measures, whatever those might be, to get him out there. But he was hurting last night. You can clearly tell. I mean, there's something going on.
So we had an orthopedic surgeon on our broadcast Friday night, and high ankle sprains came up, and he explained to us what happens, the surgery required to repair it, and the fact that I now know that, seeing what he did, is just insane to me, literally insane.
I got a statement. When I played football, we didn't get surgeries every time we got injured. Where are all these surgeries now?
It's just quicker.
You get a high ankle sprain, we're gonna have a surgery. What is your surgery on? Like, what are you doing? It's a sprain.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, they have surgery for everything. Oh, you break your finger.
Separated from the bone.
Hey, you break your finger, you get a surgery. I didn't get surgery. You break your wrist, got to have surgery. I didn't get no surgery.
It's bread is one thing, first of all, and then second of all, it's faster. We know now with technology going and everything like that, we just know that I can go in there and fix it quicker than your body's going to heal itself. And
But is it better to have them put metal
I don't know if it's
plates in your
better.
body?
I don't know if it's better, but if you got a game in 3 weeks and you want to play in it, I mean, let's go do that scope real quick and get you in there.
I can't speak on it. I have no idea. Just logic tells me that if you've got your entire franchise invested in this dude, you're not going to do the one thing that makes him perform worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have we seen the last of Jason Peters? He'll be 42 years old. No, he'll still be 41 this next season. He turns 42 next January.
I mean, I think the way he looked at the end of the year, I think we see him again.
I think if they do bring him back, it's mainly as like a mentor type position of kind of developing these younger guys on the Cowboys offensive line. I don't know that we're going to see him get a whole lot of snaps.
I can speak on this
next
topic
season.
from a perspective that you guys can't. I am literally 41 years old and can't go to the gym anymore because it hurts. This dude, I don't know how he's doing it. Just be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know how he's doing it either, but I like the way he looked at the end. I think he still got a little bit left in the tank. Definitely, like Dodie said, to be that mentor role on the sideline. And then if you need him to spell a couple of guys here and there, he's not going to give up a sack. I think that was good.
How off topic do you guys get? Like, what do you do if you're the Cowboys this offseason? Like, you got a $60 million cap hit with your quarterback. Both of your running backs are probably gone.
Already fired their offensive coordinator.
Fired your OC. You gave away your best receiver for literally nothing.
Nothing.
You have no skill position players. Your defense is getting old. What do you do? How do you fix this?
You go into a rebuilding year.
Oof, that's tough.
I don't think Cowboys fans can get behind that.
They don't have a choice at this point.
They don't, but
like I was just saying, that window. You missed your window with this team. It's time to go. You missed your window with the Dak, the Zeke. You missed
But
it.
you also have to realize that that's not how that particular owner operates.
No,
there
it's
is
not.
no rebuilding. He doesn't have much time left, and he knows it.
It's not, but I just think you have to. You have to go ahead and go to the bare bones and start from scratch and see what you can do.
I feel like we need to just bite the bullet. Dak's not the dude. See if we can get lucky in the draft with like a Joe Burrow, somebody like that. Like it's our turn.
This draft is kind
Like-
of deep, so
Like right now, you know that even as bad as it ended, your floor is probably a wild card team next year. Like the team isn't terrible, but you don't have a quarterback capable of winning a Super Bowl. Your skill players, there's nothing left but CeeDee Lamb, and he's really a slot receiver, kind of pretending to be, a one on the outside. I don't know. I don't know what you do.
I mean, we see a college player liking to hang around Dallas.
Yeah.
Might see the Cowboys draft Stetson Bennett.
I think
he just got a DUI or a
Public
public
intoxication.
intoxication out there in the D.
may not have to
in the
draft
Dallas
him now.
area.
Paint your picture. Shador and Prime, go Dallas.
Shador and Prime in Dallas in 2 years.
No,
No,
not happening.
That's in 2 years. That's 2 years away. What
that's
do you
something
do
like
till
that's
then?
something the Saints would do.
I don't think Cam would complain.
Maybe
Well, this is the
even
thing,
the Texans.
Stetson Bennett got caught up in he probably ran up on some TCU cops, probably had red hair. And they wasn't going for it.
That was a bad place for him to be partying at. Yeah. What are you doing in Dallas?
I thought about that too. Like, why would you be partying? But he's probably training out there. But
so like it was like some like neighborhood. It was like it wasn't like downtown Dallas or nothing like crazy. I mean, he was in some he was in some random neighborhood knocking on people's doors, and he got caught.
What?
Yeah, he was out partying and it was knocking on people's doors in like a residential neighborhood, and they called him for
it
like
was 6 in the morning though. Like,
yeah, it was.
What was he doing between the time that the bars closed and 6 a.m.?
He was probably at the bars, then went to somebody's house, and then got lost.
Waffle House.
And then was just walking around and knocking on people's doors and got called in.
The oldest man in college football got caught ding dong ditching.
I think he was just trying to find his friends. I think he was just lost.
We know somebody that did that one time.
We do.
Successfully made it in a house.
Successfully made it in the house.
The friends he was partying with are old enough to be homeowners, so he might have not.
Yeah, facts, big facts. But hey,
that makes it so much wilder to me that it wasn't like outside. I thought maybe he was getting heckled and there was a fight or something. No. And then, you're Stetson Bennett? Yeah, come with me.
He was just walking around a residential neighborhood, knocking on doors, and he got called in. And did
so,
y'all see?
So he must have been out of cell phone battery.
Yep.
Probably. He was like discombobulated. He didn't know where he was. He was trying to find his friends.
Did he drop his Stetson Bennett? Did he say I'm Stetson Bennett?
He might have. I don't know.
Yeah, you do that in Athens. They just.
But I mean, it's 6 in the morning. Nobody's really answering. They're just like, dude, somebody's knocking on our door right now. What's going on? And so they call it in. I mean, did y'all see the video of him getting released? Like, he was clearly hungover. Like, it was bad.
Bad night in Dallas. Been there, done that. It's tragic.
It was rough.
It's a lot of bad stuff. Not to get too far off topic. A lot of bad calls in this game. As well, though, there's a few you wanted to talk about.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So I mean, it starts with that third down call. I mean, I don't get it. So they run the third down play. The Bengals get the stop, and then the refs go, oh wait, the clock's not right. We got to do it over again. And so the Bengals have to go out and get another stop, which they do, but then it gets covered up by an Eli Apple holding call. And so then they go and then move on, so on, and then that intentional grounding call. Whenever Samaje Perine was right in the area, that was insane to me. And so then they recover from that 3rd and 16. They get down. They end up having to punt. 2 blocks in the back on that punt didn't get called. And there was a holding on that last Mahomes run, but I mean that gets covered up by the unnecessary roughness, the late head out of bounds. And I'm afraid that those 2 penalties are going to outweigh all the bad calls, and we're going to kind of forget about it. And that's going to really upset me because I mean. The refs need to take accountability. That was awful.
There is no accountability for refs.
There's not, and that's why I think like fines or something need to be handed out, or like you said, they need to be full-time employees of the NFL. Y'all got the money to pay them. Be full-time employees. Practice once a week is fully padded, and they do team. The refs should be there. That helps out the organizations and the players get used to what's going to be called, and it also gives the refs more chances to see.
Yeah, just have them, if they live in Dallas, let them do that at the Cowboys organization, but they can never ref a Cowboys game.
Exactly.
Makes sense to me.
It makes perfect sense.
But it's obvious they get to do their job 18 times a year and hopefully get it right.
Yeah.
And my problem with refs are, like, we have a guy that Frank and I know really well he's a white hat, and he's like, it's a lot harder than it seems. Like, well, we didn't sign up to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you signed up to do it. So it doesn't matter how hard it is.
Exactly.
And at this level, they only get it 18 times a year. I'm assuming they do some scrimmages.
Yeah,
I'm assuming they watch film, but they're doctors, lawyers, supposedly. Like, this isn't what they do for a living, supposedly. So it's like, at this point, they're costing teams trips to the Super Bowl. They're at minimum costing, possessions.
Yeah.
They're giving extra downs to people. Like, it's obvious. Like, we're sitting at home and no, you can't do that.
And I do want to praise them for like whenever they get stuff right, like that Kadarius Toney catch. Like
hit him with it one time, Brandon.
He didn't have a mic.
Hit him with it one time. He wants to praise him.
Good job doing your job.
Yeah, you get paid to do your job. Good job.
That Kadarius Toney catch in the end zone that they were like, oh yeah, that's clearly a catch, but the referee saw it from behind that it wasn't. I mean, that's a really good job calling that in live time without a replay or anything like that. I mean, then you go and look at all the bad that they did, and that's going to clearly outweigh all the good that they've done because that bad was just awful.
Exactly, but I think I do agree with the guy that y'all's friend that said that it's hard or whatever. I agree with that, but we know we have. Have you ever been to a referee, any type of refereeing class or anything like that? Or
no?
Have you, Frank?
No,
have you? You know what I mean? Like I haven't either, but we're on the sideline 24/7. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
and we see calls.
Yeah, we see. I see stuff. I see stuff constantly. The biggest one I see that I'll bring up anytime is high school refs calling face guarding, which is not a penalty in high school.
Not a penalty.
But they obviously are football fans and they watch the NFL. They're NFL fans. That's the reason they're calling. You see that constantly in high school football.
You see it constantly.
And I'm not as hard on high school because they ain't out there to screw nobody. They're just there's a shortage. They're out there helping. They either enjoy the game, they want to stay a part of it. Do your thing. Yeah. I don't honestly believe a high school ref, except for that dude in Georgia, shows up to hurt the team.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just out there doing it. I do like that we have replay in our state championship games when it matters. But when you get to college, I don't expect missed calls.
Me either. I don't.
When you get to the NFL, definitely. I don't think we should have any.
Exactly.
You're supposed to be the best at what you do. A lot of these calls aren't subjective to your opinion either.
Exactly.
They're just you blew it.
I agree, man. The refs, officials, officiating in general, I think right now, they're giving teams the short end of the stick all across sports in general. They're just giving teams the short end of the stick right now, and it's because there's no accountability. Like you said before, there's no accountability for a ref. What's going to happen if I'm a ref on Sunday night and I blow a call? What's happening to me Monday morning?
I guarantee their meetings are full of, I didn't see that. I didn't see it. It's full of that because that would be your cop out.
Yeah. And if I didn't see it, you can't blame me for not seeing it. But even we.
You're arguing. There's 7 other dudes on the field. Why didn't they see it? And you know what I mean?
We'll talk about it a little bit later, but you see them come out on Twitter or whatever and be like, "Oh yeah, sorry, we missed this." Thanks for that, I guess, but that doesn't matter in real time. Exactly. We need you to get the call right in real time whenever it matters the most, not 2 hours afterwards. Except you just want to take the blame, but what does that do for the team that just lost because of it?
Exactly. New commissioner.
I sent some emails.
Before I forget, I should have did this earlier. Before I forget, 30 seconds. I'm gonna give y'all 30 seconds on this one because I don't need no Google. I got a question for the listeners today, and that is, what is the diameter of a basketball hoop? All right, get in the comments. Let us know what the diameter of a basketball hoop is. It'll probably be my man Josh Stinson.
He said something real funny. He said, even in PGY, no ref accountability. Hey, let me tell you about these refs in PGY. And they're out there just doing their thing, having fun. But there's certain things they won't call.
Yeah.
I went an entire game trying to get them to call a moving screen. They wouldn't call it. Okay. Well, the next game, Walker goes out, and I tell him to set a screen. Big time moving screen. Terrible. And the ref walks up on me. He said, and he takes his whistle out. You could tell he wanted to say this to me. He was like, "Oh, how about that moving screen right there?" And I said, "Oh, we know y'all don't call it." But if we get up big on a team, and I try to take some of my really good players out, let some other people play, they'll let the other team back in it. We don't have our best players sitting. They'll start only calling double dribble on us, only calling travel on us, and then let them back in the game. And I'm over there well, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, I would just. I'm a different type of coach, but I would just.
Hey, listen, man. We're not at that age yet where we should just be running it up on other kids. We're out there supposed to be making other kids better. I have to give other kids opportunity when it arises, but.
Hey, that was 30. Was that 30 seconds? That's probably 30 seconds. Nobody got the answer today. The answer is 18 inches in diameter. Frank, did you know that?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't paying attention. You know what?
I got a question for y'all
for
too.
The users,
I got a question for y'all too, though. All right.
Did you say it was 30 inches?
18.
Oh, I thought somebody said. I don't know.
I got my eyes.
Did somebody say 30? It's 18. But the question for y'all is, what is the national sport of Canada?
Hockey.
I would assume hockey, but since you're asking, it's probably not.
It's not.
So
Curling.
Jennifer says she knows.
hold on.
It's not.
What is it called? What's it called when people run a long ways? What's that called?
Oh, like cross country?
Cross country skiing.
Oh no, that's a good one though. But no. Frank, what you got?
No clue. Snowmobiling. At the X Games.
Like a decathlon trial. Like
is it ice skating?
Like shooting stuff.
No.
Ice skating racing?
No. Y'all ready?
What?
Lacrosse.
Man, I knew it was lacrosse.
I thought one of y'all would get
I
that.
just thought, I was like, man, why would they play lacrosse in Canada? That was going to be my first guess.
We had
But I thought
curling on here. No, nope, that ain't it. Oh, 18 inches unless playing on the road.
But we're in PGYA. Every time we switch sides, evidently ours gets smaller.
Hey, man, I thought y'all was gonna get one today. One day y'all gonna get one, and I might have a gift for y'all.
I mean,
What'd you say?
I said I'm not guessing lacrosse for Canada.
Lacrosse was a.
I don't even know where lacrosse started.
Unless Drake pulls some strings, I can't go to Canada.
And how is it not hockey?
I don't. Yeah. I mean, hockey originated. I mean,
I think that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it's not hockey, but it's lacrosse.
But I guess more, it's kind of like soccer. And I'll always say this. Soccer's the biggest sport in the world because everybody with two legs can play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think everybody can play hockey. You got to be able to skate. Then you got to be able to skate well. Then you got to be tough. So, I mean, it's true. I'll always go with that. Soccer is the most popular sport in the world because it doesn't matter how tall you are, how fast you are, really. You can kick a soccer ball. And you can play, not professionally, but you can play at any level all the way up to kicking it around on the Sunday with your boys.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost money. You just need a ball.
Yeah, I mean, but hockey, I guess.
The Lord seems to think different.
What's he over there talking about?
I said we get Morgan on the soccer field.
I mean, I can kick a soccer ball. I mean, what?
Brett versus Morgan, a shootout.
First to three. Who wants to see that right there?
And they get to alternate. Like
some respect
Morgan's
on the
kicking, Brandon gets to be the goalie.
Brought to you by Phone Pros. Brought to you by Phone Pros. We're gonna have that. What would you call that? What they call it at the end of the game? Penalty shots.
Penalty shoot.
We got penalty shots. Brandon versus Morgan, 3 apiece. Who makes the most goals? Who wants to see that? And that's how we're gonna do
I mean,
it.
nobody wants to
We
see
got a
that.
couple people that want to see it. We're gonna set it up.
I'll watch the highlights for sure.
I'll watch the highlights.
That will be out.
There will be highlights. Brandon.
I'm gonna be firing them in there, so we better be ready.
Brandon's on a redemption tour. Speaking of redemption,
Don't let me bring John Kelly into town.
yeah, Brandon's on a redemption
Instant
tour.
hill for Brandon.
His last battle, his last one-on-one battle did not go too well.
His last few have not gone well.
There's been more?
Did you not hear about the golf?
No.
Oh my God, it was terrible. Oh, I beat him in a race behind the store too. He had road rash. He had road rash on his legs by the time. Here's what happened. I was sitting right here. I was sitting right here, and Brandon said, "I'll give you a 10-yard head start, and I'll still beat you in 40." And I said, "Done deal." Walked outside in my dress shoes. Smoked him. He fell down. Hey, he fell down and had like literal road rash all over his leg.
10-yard head start
In a 40-yard dash. I'll race Tyreek Hill with a 10-yard head start in a 40-yard dash.
That's tough.
No, he didn't. No, anybody was here will say
We're talking a little reckless.
I probably would have beat him without the start.
In 100, it makes sense. 40
Hey, did you catch up at all? That's the question.
Hey,
you closed
hey.
the gap?
Hey, I was so far ahead, I started slowing down at the end of Showboat.
Ron really is in the chat.
That's hilarious. So, Brandon, what they're saying is you're 0 for 3. Of course, today you're going to talk
Now,
the
and
most.
Brandon got 18 strokes and played from the women's tees.
Who did he play?
John Kelly. John played from the tips. He played from the women's tees and got 18 additional strokes. It was over in 4 holes. John could have beat him by 60 to 70 strokes.
Well, if he can't chip and putt, doesn't matter. He could have started off on the green and lost.
So you're 0 for 3. 0 for 3 in game day challenges is what it sounds like, Brandon. So we're going to get you back. Hopefully you can get – I don't know if you're going to win this one. I don't know much about soccer. Ron, who do you think, since you're in the chat right now, who do you think will win in the shootout between if we're talking soccer too, between Morgan and Brandon? Each of them get 3 shots to score on the other one. Who do you think will win that? I don't know who will win that matchup. I think that's actually the most even thing y'all could probably do.
I've never seen.
I think there's a lot of luck involved in that. When neither one of us kicked the soccer ball, but
You got to play Gameday too.
no joke. I know Brandon is just going to kick it to the right side every time. So I mean, I'll just have to guard half the goal.
That's the beauty.
You know
of it.
what I
There's
mean?
No way to
So-
know where the ball's coming off your foot because you don't know how to kick it. I don't. I'm not saying that.
I'll
Yeah,
put
he
some
could be
English on it.
aiming right,
That thing,
he might be going that way.
the rotation will be so hard. If it hits the ground, it might come back to me.
I bet 6 shots total. I bet y'all missed the net with 4 of them.
No,
And that's being real.
No,
You
because
kick
we
it off
ain't
your
we
toe,
ain't
it's
we
gonna
ain't
go
gonna
all
be
over the
kicking
place.
it up I'm not gonna be kicking it up in the air. I'm gonna keep mine on the ground, make him work.
Make them work.
Hey,
I need to give Brandon more credit.
we not to get too far away from the officials, man. This one right here really hurt my heart. And I really kind of didn't want to bring it up this morning, but then I saw my boy Doty had
The
it at
haters are
bottom
gonna come out of the woodwork.
You know, but the LeBron foul. I know we all seen it by now.
I just want to say this. Cut this. Clip it. If Michael Jordan goes to the lane and that exact same thing happens, he's getting a foul call.
For sure.
Why is LeBron not getting Michael Jordan effects?
I just want to say this. Who's watching a 40-year-old man playing for a team 8 games under 500 on TV play basketball?
Nick's betting on him. That's
Yeah.
what's even crazier to me.
Apparently, the entire. I mean, a lot of people. It went crazy as soon as it happened. By the time it happened, and I picked up my phone, the internet was already going
On
nuts.
a
So I wasn't the
Saturday,
only
too.
one watching it.
Y'all
But
crazy.
he is the king, and he's going towards the record right now. And all the games are globally televised. I mean, a lot of people are watching it. But
Same thing with Floyd Mayweather. I'm sure he'd sell out an arena at 42.
yeah, easy,
I ain't watching it.
easy. But no, what I'm saying. But
You ain't
I think
gotta pay for it. You can come
the
to my house and
league.
watch it.
I don't even know if it's the league, but people in the league, as far as refs and owners and stuff like that or whatever, you know, everybody, they love Jordan. Jordan's the guy, you know, everybody's GOAT, not mine. Mine's LeBron. But they don't want to see LeBron be up to that. So anytime they got a chance to knock him down and get a knock on him, they do it. And I think with the Lakers, let's just say the Lakers were to make a championship run this year, which I don't think they're able to, but let's just say they did. What would that look like? How do you keep knocking LeBron if the Lakers, in his old age,
10 straight NBA finals?
not anymore,
But he went to 10 straight, right?
or 9 or 10? I think 9.
He played against, I don't even know if it's arguably, the best team ever assembled and lost.
Yeah.
Got lucky and beat them once.
I don't call that look down 3-1, but yeah.
But I mean, they were down 3-1 for a reason. But
Hey.
you can't say Cleveland had the better team, and they were down 3-1.
No, the Cleveland did not have the better team.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
luck involved in them coming back. I mean, Draymond kicking the dude in the growing, getting kicked out again, or not being able to play that one game mattered. You know,
Yeah.
it gave a little bit of confidence back. A game they probably weren't going to win. So, like, Frank, myself, I don't really throw you into this. We grew up with Michael and then LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron's my age. Like
My age range is the sweet spot where I literally got to see both of their primes, and at the ages where I'm actually into it and remembering it. And I don't know how people can watch the two and not come to the same conclusion. My theory is pretty simple. If you swap places, put peak LeBron on those Jordan teams, put peak Jordan on the LeBron teams, the Bulls win more titles, and the Cavs Heat win fewer. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
It just is. And you're going to hear nonsense about, oh, they were too physical for LeBron back in the late 80s. No, LeBron's a 6'8", 295-pound literal alien. He would destroy the NBA like no one had ever seen in the late 80s. But carry on with your nonsense.
Yeah, you know, and this argument came up at our dinner table last night. My stepfather was like, "Oh man, they would have demolished him in the '90s," and it's just like I know.
Yeah.
No way.
And on
Like,
top
did
of
you
that-
hear this on Fox News and just ran with it?
It's exactly
Like,
what
because it's
happened.
not true.
No, and
You
then
know,
on
I
top
mean-
of that, the defenders now with their length and their athleticism, Mike didn't have to contend with that either. You know what I mean? Now you can stick 4 out on Mike and defend him when you couldn't.
Oh,
do
and he's
that in
like,
the late
Dennis
80s.
Rodman would have punished LeBron James, and I'm like, he said
Dennis
the
Rodman's
heirs of that
undefeated.
generation can't compete with them, and I was like, Shaquille O'Neal would kill
Exactly.
Dennis Rodman.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
what
Like,
I'm saying.
you can't have an argument with that generation when it
at
comes
all.
to the Jordan, LeBron, because they're Jordan. Like I said before, when that generation dies off, we won't be hearing about Jordan no more.
They're the same people that'll tell you Muhammad Ali would have beat Lennox Lewis.
Yeah,
No,
dude.
He would not have.
No,
It's been over 2 rounds.
See, boxing, that's where I have no.
they'll be like, "Oh, Rocky
Forte out there.
Marciano is greatest ever."
No.
No,
Jake
No.
Paul knock him out.
Yeah.
Jake Paul. Oh man.
Like, dude, and I'm not even one that's like, oh, Mike Tyson. No, like Mike Tyson's not the GOAT. Mike Tyson, but we grew up like I can make an argument for him because I grew up with him. But if you didn't grow up with him, you didn't get to experience like, dude, it was a big deal when Mike Tyson fought.
Yeah.
Boxing fans right now don't know what it was like when Mike Tyson fought on a Saturday night. Everything shut down. Everybody was watching Mike Tyson. It was unbelievable.
For 5 seconds.
But the first time he gets put in a ring with Lennox Lewis, I was there.
He's embarrassed.
He gets embarrassed. Like, it's just, I don't know how to explain that atmosphere as a young child.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden. And just seeing these two fight was the biggest thing I've ever done. I'll never forget it as a child. But, like, boxing isn't what it was. Floyd Mayweather never had that draw. Like, half the people hated him. Half the people liked him. Or probably more people hated him. Some people liked him. But, like, everybody, hate him or love him, you wanted to watch Mike Tyson.
Iron Mike, baby.
And then the generation before them, it was Muhammad Ali. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think Muhammad Ali was that great of a boxer compared to the guys we have right now. The Klitschko brothers are probably 2 of the top 5 greatest boxers ever. And I can't think of Vladimir. Was he the one that held every belt?
Vitaly. Vitaly was the younger one. Vladimir is the one that yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that
Vladimir,
had the
in my
long reign.
opinion, very well, arguably, between him and Lennox Lewis, best boxer. Maybe even Tyson Fury now.
There you go. I was
Those
about to say,
big
don't-
boxers.
don't- that's your goat right there.
Those big boxers, dude, Muhammad Ali wouldn't have been able to do nothing with them. Mike Tyson, Tyson Fury would punish Mike Tyson.
Too small.
But because I grew up with Mike Tyson's that dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only one with a shot would have been like peak George Foreman because he was big
George
enough.
Foreman could have done it, but he's always been out of shape.
And he was okay. He's like, you can punch me so many times that I'll just
See,
not, I
never-
don't want to spell my own name. Just hit me.
I never got into the boxing world. I guess it was kind of dying out whenever I was coming through.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, it was pretty much died out.
MMA came
who was the
along
big
and kinda
boxer when I was
ruined
growing up?
Mayweather probably.
Yeah, I guess Mayweather. That's all I know. As
Maybe
far as
De La
like,
Hoya, you might have caught the tail end of
yeah,
that.
De La Hoya. Also Jones Jr. Those
Yeah.
guys were like the main guys when I was coming up. But boxing was, I guess, kind
Roy
of
Jones
dead.
Jr. was a draw too.
Yeah. But boxing was kind of dead whenever I started coming through. I know you didn't watch boxing growing
No,
up.
I mean,
saw Roy Jones
I have
Jr. fight.
No clue about boxing. I mean, I know Tyson Fury's up there, and then Canelo, but I mean, I don't really know anybody else. That's about it. I mean, I know Triple
Boxing's
G's
bad
name.
now. You can't compare these guys fighting right now to
I mean,
guys
what,
fighting 20 years
Javante
ago.
Davis is-
Redheads gonna stick together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Javante Davis is like the main draw right now in boxing, I'm guessing.
Well, not anymore after this. Well, I mean, he is, yes, but I don't know what
No, he's
the
not.
rumors are that he's going to lose his license to fight over these latest things with beating up women and stuff. So, man, I don't know boxing. I don't even watch it like I used to. I used to be religious in watching boxing, but it's so bad right now. The guys you want to see fight won't fight,
Yeah.
and it's all done like let's say he's a fighter. Well, I'm his agent, and he's a fighter, and you're his agent. You want him to fight one of your fighters, so you keep all the money. You don't want to split the money with me, and that's what's happening in boxing. There's no organization like, let's say, the mixed martial arts. What's it called?
UFC.
UFC, where he chooses who fights who. You don't want to do it? Well, your contract's void. Boxing needs something like that.
Yeah.
But
I think it stops you from just holding out too. Like it's like fighting, winning your
yeah,
belt, and you
dude,
just sitting on
freaking
it.
Mayweather and what's the dude's name from Philippines?
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao, dude, they fought so. I mean, Pacquiao wasn't gonna beat Mayweather, but they fought so after their prime.
Yeah.
It just
It
wasn't
took
even.
forever to get it all worked out.
Yeah, like it
was
wasn't
stupid.
even. I mean, I guess I say it wasn't. It was the biggest pay-per-view purchase in the history of pay-per-view. But
Because we waited on it for 12 years,
Yeah.
I think. You know what I'm saying? Or not we, but the boxing world waited on it for so long that once it finally came around, they had to watch it. Then they fought again, right? After that, they did two. They went twice.
I remember I had all these people at my house for Floyd Mayweather fighting the MMA guy,
Conor McGregor.
and everybody wanted betting on Conor McGregor. I was like, I'll take any bet,
Me too. I would have taken
any
it
bet
back.
y'all want.
I'll be honest with you, and it's probably screw it. I made more money that night than I've ever made a night of gambling in my life, because by the time all these idiots' money came in on McGregor at the casino in Pittsburgh, where I was at the time, the money line on Mayweather dropped to like minus 140. It was like betting on the Cowboys to beat the Redskins. You know what I mean? Like, all right, here, let's do this.
Yeah,
And that's-
it. Just lets you know, like the only way you make that bet is if you hate Floyd Mayweather,
Exactly.
because
Which a
you
lot of
can't
people do.
honestly believe
That's what
McGregor
that whole,
was about to beat
That's
him.
what
in
that whole
block.
matchup was about. It just was.
Yeah.
I mean, you think he about to beat the best ever
No.
in boxing.
Exactly. Now,
And people like this comment was just made by Stinson, and watch two guys run from each other. The whole point of boxing is to hit and not get hit.
Yeah.
It'd be like the
Like
best
these dudes that
pickleball player in the
brawl,
world.
anybody can go brawl.
Yeah.
We can go brawl.
Yeah.
I might get lucky and knock
Exactly.
you out.
That's
You
all
might get lucky and knock
brawling
me
is,
out.
getting
That don't
lucky.
make you a boxer.
It'd be like the best table tennis
And
player
these
in the
MMA
world
guys,
playing
they're
Novak
working
Djokovic.
construction, and they're like, "Hey, man, I think you can fight." Oh
don't
yeah,
think
man, I
that-
think I can fight too. All right, well, I'll see you Saturday night at the arena.
Well, that's
like
not-
that's literally how MMA started.
Yeah, that's how it started. But now you add in the jiu-jitsu and all the extra stuff.
And y'all can say, "Oh, that's not true." They had a championship fight. A dude was on a 24-hour notice to come fight and comes in and wins the UFC championship.
that happens all the time,
That tells
too.
you, like, dude, this ain't really about that. Like, who on a 24-hour notice that's not a professional fighter is going to show up and fight Floyd Mayweather and beat him?
Yeah, true.
It's not. There is a less than a 0% chance that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I think in boxing there's more of an art to it for sure. But when you get down to the nitty gritty, when you get like to the Anderson Silva guys, Israel Adesanya, those type of guys in MMA, they're out there working. It ain't just running up.
I still say the best fighters in the world are boxers.
No,
I disagree.
Khabib is going to go down as one of the greatest ever, and he's not going to fight anymore.
But
which
Khabib is more of a
crazy.
wrestler too, though.
Exactly.
no.
But, I mean,
Morgan, what are you talking about?
It takes more skill to be in a boxing ring
Now,
than it does to
on
be
the
in a
flip side,
UFC.
if Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor met each other in an alley
10
outside of a
seconds.
bar,
It's 10
McGregor's got him
seconds.
down in 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's 10
all-
But it's not. You're boxing. It's hand to hand combat.
Exactly. It's not fighting.
And plus, these UFC fights, they spend half the fight hugging each other.
Only some people.
Like
They
boxing's
literally
not
lay on the
fighting.
ground and hug
I
each
mean,
other.
that's the technicality of
Not
it.
really
Yeah.
anymore though. I think I haven't seen that in a long time. Not with the guys I
Boxing is
watch.
It just
like
depends
one
on the
aspect
fighters.
of fighting.
I mean, if
It's
you
not the whole
have a
thing.
true
But boxing is a skill sport.
So it's ping pong.
But I put John Jones in a boxing ring. I put Israel Adesanya in a boxing ring, but just not guys who don't really depend on.
My problem with UFC fans are like, oh, these dudes can fight.
they can.
Like
Some can. A lot
backyard
of them
brawling isn't professional
That's
fighting.
what I'm saying. I think you're still stuck in like the 08 UFC.
Yeah.
That ain't what UFC is anymore. It's not. It's way more than that. Like
Like you thought Kimbo Slice was good in the UFC.
who me?
No, Morgan.
Oh,
I've never said Kimbo Slice was good in the
Brandon,
UFC.
watch out now.
he won a few
I've
fights.
never said
he won
Kimbo
a few fights.
Slice.
Hold on, RIP
Hey,
to
but
the
Kimbo
GOAT. now.
Slice
Hold
was
on.
a champion. Was he not a champion?
I don't think he was a champion.
No, in the one he came before the UFC, he was a
Yeah,
champion.
he was in the what's it called before you go.
Because he
to
got
UFC.
knocked out by that white dude that showed up on a 24-hour notice.
Was that bum fights? That what y'all
Bellator, PFL, something
It's
like
like Bellator or something like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, but there's a few guys that can cross over. I think, well, more than a few. There's a lot of guys that
That's
can
why
cross
boxing
over.
lost its appeal because people see now what actual fighting is, and it ain't boxing.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody trying to watch that. It's boring.
that. I mean, like, because
true.
we were just talking about what I got to grow up
Boxing
with.
continuously has more pay-per-view buys than UFC. Do you want me to
I
pull it
don't
up?
feel like that's
Sure. I don't know when the
I
next
don't know
boxing
that. I
match
don't
to
know
you
that.
I don't feel like that's true.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's what we need. A red
Just
flag.
so we're on the same page. I'm not counting Jake Paul as boxing. That's not boxing.
I mean, the UFC is running events every single Saturday of like
Yeah,
of
no.
like mid card stuff.
The
But
last
I mean, you
boxing
get a
pay-per-view-
true like
the last
good main
popular
event.
boxing
I mean,
pay-per-view would have been Fury,
Wilder.
Wilder, yeah.
Hey, but that's my thing. Like brawlers, that shows you like between a brawler and a boxer.
Yeah.
Wilder,
Now,
brawler.
when he pulls
brawler.
up the list, the top of the list
Fury
is going to be a
boxing.
boxing match because it's going to be Jake Paul, right? But that's not boxing.
Hey,
That's
this is all I
entertaining.
know right here. If you take John Jones and you put him in a boxing ring, that boxer's in trouble.
No,
you take
no,
Israel
no,
Adesanya
no,
and you
no,
put him in a
no,
boxing ring, that
You
boxer's
take
in
John
trouble.
Jones from the boxing ring, he's getting knocked out.
No.
Or vice versa.
No, sir. He's a great boxer.
He's a great striker. There's a big difference.
No, I think
Because he John Jones uses his length in his feet a lot.
Yeah,
He does.
It's two completely different.
he
you
does.
eliminate
but
the
I've
element of his
just seen him
legs,
box.
that's-
I've seen him
yeah.
box. I've seen Israel Adesanya box. Like
The
not
average
using their feet.
UFC event pulls in about 1 million pay-per-view buys.
It happens
Wilder
every 30
versus
minutes.
Wilder versus Fury.
That's a horrible comparison.
What did he put?
Wilder
He said
versus
the-
Fury.
He said the average UFC versus Wilder.
Let me
versus
finish what I'm.
Fury.
Let me finish
That's
what I'm doing.
terrible.
Okay.
Wilder versus
Yeah,
Fury,
that's
6 million. The largest ever was Mayweather Pacquiao, Mayweather McGregor, UFC 229, Khabib versus McGregor. That was 2.4 million. De La Hoya Mayweather 2.4, Mayweather versus Canelo 2.2, and then there's a huge drop, and then there's just UFC and boxing.
Yeah, like the last 3 years is kind of what we're talking about. And we're
Hey,
talking about
I got in the comments right here. I got one for you right here, Frank. It says Fury is athletically inferior to an heavyweight MMA guy. So he's saying you're saying so Josh, you're saying that Fury could go in MMA and just destroy it.
No.
He's saying they would destroy him.
Oh, okay, I see
He's
what
saying
you're
that
saying. Okay.
Fury is like inferior to John Jones or somebody like.
okay.
I mean, if y'all are like,
Ngannou,
let's
or
lay on the
however you say
ground
his
and
name.
You
pull
put-
your leg, yeah, I guess that's fighting.
Ngannou in a boxing ring with Fury and said box. Fury knocks him out in 3 rounds, but you put Fury in a UFC mat with Ngannou, Ngannou knocks him out in 3 rounds.
Only if they're laying on the mat.
I don't think
That's the whole point.
That's
I don't
part of the
think-
sport, though.
I don't think a lot
But
of
it's
these
a
guys will be able
boring
to take
part
it
of the
down.
sport.
Maybe.
Boxing
Like,
is just
yeah.
like watching two guys.
It's like,
wrestle.
I remember fighting
You know
my
what I'm saying?
brother.
Boxing is just like watching two guys in MMA wrestle.
No, boxing is more. There's more skill to it, and you know it.
Then jiu-jitsu.
These dudes aren't dodging each other; they're taking each other's punches. That's why people like it.
They
It's
dodge
not
it
because
too.
they're skilled.
But this is what I'm saying right here. This is what I'm saying.
It takes a lot more
Watching
skill to
Floyd
not get hit.
Mayweather, or listen. Watching Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao is just as pillow fightish and boring as watching two MMA guys wrestle the whole match. Is what I'm saying.
But there's a lot more skill involved in the
But
boxing.
if an average boxing match, they're
getting-
not just throwing haymakers like truly squaring up. There is a lot of hugging in boxing.
Well,
and
then
have
you
to
then you
realize
don't
that
need to
too.
watch boxing. If you're looking
I'm
for
not
two
saying-
dudes to brawl, then you're a UFC
I'm not
fan.
saying that. What I'm saying is
Well,
the parts of
no
boxing,
one is
the
watching
parts of
boxing. That's the
just
whole
as
point.
much hugging and running around the ring, not getting hit in boxing is dead time.
They fight with pillows
in
on their hands
MMA.
because they're hitting freaking hard.
Who?
And if you didn't, people die. People still die in the boxing ring.
Yeah, people die playing football. People die doing all type of stuff. What I'm saying, that don't mean
People
that
die
they're
playing
hitting
football
harder.
allegedly.
You think you think they're hitting harder in boxing than those guys are getting hit in MMA?
Of course not.
If you put gloves
Just
on
'cause
their
they
hands,
have gloves
if they
on?
put gloves on their hands, yeah, they're probably
They put
hitting.
gloves on so that they get tired.
The people that die in boxing.
No, they put
die-
gloves on your hands so you don't physically die.
No, they die.
What are you talking
they die
about?
From an
No, I'm
accumulation
talking
of the shots
not
to
the
head.
boxing gloves. Like the boxing gloves, the whole pad and all that is not to save the opponent.
Yes, that is to keep.
That's why they're
That-
weighted. They're weighted too. It makes it harder to box, not to save the opponent necessarily.
People would die. If they did bare
There's
knuckle
less
boxing,
padding. There's less-
people would
there's
die.
less-
You can't tell me there's not.
There's
that-
less
that-
padding in MMA gloves than there is in a boxing glove.
and they're not the same fighters.
They're hitting
They're
harder.
clowns.
I can guarantee you they're hitting hard. They're hitting each other harder in MMA.
Yes, this is.
They're hitting each other way harder. In
I
MMA
think
than
I
they're
think
in
y'all are just thinking this just because
I'm not.
What's the
we have an
question?
entire internet.
What's the question we're asking? I'm confused.
Okay,
which
I
guys
don't
are
know what
getting
he's
hit
gonna look
harder?
up.
Who's
The
getting
MMA guys, when they take a clean shot, it's a harder punch than a
then a
boxer.
clean
Or
shot
does
in
it
the
just
boxing.
look harder because the boxing guys have padding on their
It's
freak
harder
thing?
because they're stronger and they're throwing harder punches.
That's not true.
The reason boxing is more dangerous is because the gloves allow for an accumulation of punches.
The intensity of an actual punching force of a boxer is 10 to 35% times more than that of an MMA fighter. Reason: the increased capacity of force is due to the better tactics and muscle strength built by extensive experience and practice. Any of y'all's
Well, we're gonna
motherfucking
test
face.
this in real time, all right? We're gonna let Frank put on a boxing glove and punch you square in your cheek, and on the other side, he gonna put on an MMA glove and I'll let him do it with his left hand
Once
because he's
again,
right-handed.
the intensity of an actual punching force is 10 to 35 times more than that of an MMA fighter. Reason: the increased capacity of force is due to better tactics and muscle strength built by extensive experience and
Buddy
practice.
Shelton says you need to listen to Frank Morgan.
Buddy Shelton don't know what he's talking about either.
The injuries in boxing come from the.
It's literally on the
accumulation of
internet.
blood.
It says it right there.
Hey,
And
how
I
old
typed
is
in,
that article?
who punches harder, MMA or boxer?
And
That's
we're-
what popped up.
When was it written?
What you're getting is an average. We're talking about at the top level.
Let's find an expertboxing.com says this.
Oh,
They're
What do you
gonna
think
be
they're gonna
yeah,
say?
bias for sure.
In terms
we
of
have
more
skill.
force,
Our
output
punches are
capacity.
more straighter, so they're harder. And common sense tells you that it.
All right, here's what it says. In terms of more force output capacity, I would say boxers are about equal or 10% better than MMA fighters. All right, I'm not going to read the entire
What does
thing.
MMA.com
but he
say?
says, in terms of actual force output, boxers are 10 to 35% better. Better techniques and muscle memory due to increased experience. If you're comparing punching on a heavy bag, boxers and MMA will be about the same, with a small but clear edge for boxers. Boxers are also far more efficient, which would increase the disparity over a bout duration.
Hey, man,
In
shout out
terms of
Buddy
actual
Shelton.
damage caused, boxers are anywhere between 25 and 200% better, which we saw in the Mayweather-McGregor fight. McGregor wasn't landing nothing.
They were about to put Floyd in the octagon.
That doesn't mean that Floyd Mayweather punches harder than McGregor.
I'm just saying. I'm just
On
telling you.
boxing.com.
the
Hey, my
200
boy Buddy Sheldon said,
actual damage caused.
of course, boxing would say that. MMA killed boxing. That's a good point.
Hey,
Boxing.com is not going to say, oh, yeah, MMA guys are better than ours.
Important.
All I know is every
alert.
time an MMA dude has tried to box somebody, they've lost.
But we've never seen nobody else go over there.
Because they don't have to. They make more money being a boxer. They aren't on these BS contracts.
Longview today. Girls soccer, Texas High Longview today at 5:30 at Grimm because of weather.
Well, Walker's got a game at 5.
Got moved up because of weather. Shout out to, hey, Doty, I gave you a new nickname. It's Zach Stat Doty.
I appreciate it.
Zach the Stat Doty.
I mean, I got Google too. Can I be the stat guy?
Breaking news.
That's not Google.
That's breaking news. So,
Cam's like, why'd you even say
credit
that,
the
Doty? Now we
Texas
gotta
High
work
Lady
money
Soccer
into tonight.
Instagram account.
he out here giving
I said
credit
credit
too.
the Texas High Lady Tiger Soccer account.
Hey,
Y'all are
before
crazy.
we get out of here, though, we got to talk about this game Friday night because we always talk about when we go out to the smaller schools, how they show up and show out. Friday night, the Raider Dome was rocking.
What happened Friday night? I wasn't here for that.
Liberty Allo versus PG basketball.
A terrible game, but a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
The band.
Depends on who you're cheering
What
for.
are the Dazzlers?
Yeah, Dazzlers.
Dazzlers.
Dazzler showed out.
Hey, it's been a long time since I've heard like a band in a gym for basketball.
Exactly.
It was live.
Exactly.
I enjoyed myself. We got some great photos.
Exactly. Mr. T. Randall Taylor was in the building with the drum line. He had the jersey on, the drum line jersey. I ain't seen that one. That was a new one. He had a jersey for the drum line, and on the back it had their saying, which is drama, their nickname. And I mean, it was they turned it up in there. And I mean, obviously the basketball team handled business.
It was like 17-2 at one point.
Yeah.
Liberty Allo came out hot.
They did that quick
You
start.
were speaking on taking out your starters early. That's what Liberty Allo did. It was like 25 to a single digit number there early at the end of the first quarter, and Billy Brewer took out the starters to kind of give him a rest for that rest of the game just because he knew he could.
So was that a
not
big
talk about baseball and golf?
29-point
I talk about baseball, Frank. They did that.
29-point win
Yeah,
for the Leopards.
if not more.
If you're a Leopard fan, of course you enjoyed it.
Podcast, Frank.
But if you didn't care who won, it was a bad game to watch. That's what I mean by it was a bad game.
Yeah, but unless you were there. I think if you were there, even
Oh, if you were there,
and you didn't have a team
show up at
watching,
Raider Dome the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Hey, it's live in the Raider Dome.
for sure. I mean, they.
I bet you their side was 70% filled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
February
out in that
7th,
press.
Liberty Allo versus Paris will be an incredible game.
Oh yeah, Liberty Allo versus Paris. That'll be a big game. They could possibly move into second place if everything goes right up until that point for them. But that Liberty Allo press, man, and they just get out and run. They're just athletic,
Yeah, they do have some athletes.
and they just get out and run. There's nothing you can do. And then we can't. They had a great night from the 3-point line.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
three
That was
guys.
crazy.
Well, early. As it got later, it kept kind of. But who?
Prevo was hitting late though too. Though in that fourth quarter, I mean they were clicking on all levels. 3 guys in double digits.
Prevo with 18. Tracy had 16.
Tracy underneath
JJ
the
had
glass
10.
was impressive.
Or 11.
Who's number 3? What's his name? Is that Greg?
Jordan Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Reed, yeah.
He's good. He's a good point guard.
He's a great point guard. Who else?
Greg
Galloway
London
had off the bench. Greg London
Yeah.
off the bench.
Well, no, Greg London was starting. He was big in the paint and getting points in the paint. Halston Baca being out for Pleasant Grove was a hit on them, and so Tracy and Greg London were able to take control
I'll
of that
be honest
thing.
with y'all. They didn't score in the paint until like late first quarter. They were going to be up big anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, PG didn't really make it on their side of the court very often.
Exactly.
And if they did make it to the rim, it was just throwing the ball down there, one of their guys catch it and go try a layup from outside the paint is what it looked like from the other end of the court.
Exactly. We talked about it during the stream. Me and Tyler did. That zone that Liberty Allo was dropping back into after the press. They weren't letting anybody dribble past the 3-point line. They just played a great game. Like I said, Tracy Revels had his best game. Maybe not points wise, but getting rebounds, assists, and everything underneath the glass. It just showed that Baca wasn't there. For PG, I think.
How about Tracy's tried dunk?
A couple of them. I talked to him about that after the game.
I said, Tracy, man, you got to quit trying to dunk, man. Tracy, you can't dunk. It's time to quit this.
It's the breakaway dunk. He's a breakaway dunk guy. You're not a drop step dunker, Tracy.
I give him a hard time all the time. I'm just like, hey, man, just because you dunked it one time on a Tuesday don't mean you can dunk. All right, you got to give this up. Just make your layup and go to the other end.
Hey, I'll give you another random stat since we throw those out about the LE basketball team. Freshman Daquan Prevost leads that team in game dunks.
Really?
Wouldn't think
I didn't
about
know that was.
Wouldn't think
That sounds like a stat that Huff would keep up with.
Earl definitely gave it to
I got
him.
that from. I got that from Coach Brewer actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Does not sound like a stat he would keep up with.
Yeah,
Sounds like a stat Primo keeps up
it's a
with.
stat
Bro,
they
Lets
keep-
everybody
hey,
know.
Listen. He gave me the backstory on it. It's a stat that they keep up with only because Tracy said that he would have the most in-game dunks this season. So they've been.
Does Tracy have
with
zero?
it. He has one.
He
got it in the Gunslinger.
Yeah, he had one. I think it was against, or he tried to get one against Hooks that would have torn off the.
Have you had any live on the stream?
Not from Tracy on the stream, have we?
Not from. I don't think we've had any of our guys have.
Yeah, we don't have any
some
of our
in-game
guys on the
dunks.
stream dunking it. No, we got a dunk at. No, that's no. We
Well, while we're on it, let's talk about that JV game. That's the one to talk about.
That
Shout out to Liberty Ilo's
my
varsity.
goodness.
Took sole third place in
Yeah.
district. February 7th, they play Paris, who's in second place.
Yep.
Yes.
That'll be a big game. Great game to Coach Brewer. Great game to the team. Enjoyed being out. Appreciate the hospitality. Gym was rocking. I love that the band's there. I love that the Dazzlers were there. I love that Cheers there. Can't wait to be back at the Raider Dome. With that being said, let's talk about this JV game
crazy
because it was the one to talk about.
it was.
What a wild ending.
First of
That
all,
was just insane.
I've become
The dude working the clock is obviously there for the Leopards. Let's start with that. The guy operating the clock is a Leopard for life. Somebody give him the Leopard for life award.
exactly. They had some clock management issues going on over
They
there.
have some home advantage.
They had it. That was all three games. That clock was.
Hey,
that clock
you know
guy was
what's
struggling.
funny? Right there at the end, after he made the free throws, they throw the ball in, and then the dude steals it. There was 0.8 seconds left on the clock. Go back and watch that video.
Yeah.
The dude goes down from half court, however long that takes, gets his layup blocked, and he's almost running back to half court, and then the buzzer blows.
They could have got another shot.
could have got
up.
another
That's-
shot up,
That's
yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
worst
I
part
mean,
about
this
it. They
dude,
could have got
hey,
another
give
shot
this
up.
guy the Leopard for Life award. I'm telling y'all, he deserves it.
So, Frank, I'm guessing that you didn't see it, but Liberty Aloe comes out and they've already they've set up what they're going to do. They're down 3, I believe, right?
No, it's tied.
They're tied up.
Oh, it's tied
tied
up.
up.
Okay, so Liberty Aloe comes out and they come in and they hit a 3-pointer, but the whistle's blown and they get a technical because they have 6 players on the court.
Wow.
So PG gets the ball. They come in.
First, they get free throws.
They get the free throws for the technical fouls, and they get possession. Liberty Aloe steals the ball, correct?
Yes.
After that inbound, they come in. They're down 2 at this point after both free throws
Yes.
made.
Yep.
They come down. They're driving, and the shot is blocked off the backboard, and then they get their own rebound, and they just hold it because they thought that the game was over. But they had still probably like 2 more seconds to get a shot off. But
Well, I mean, because the guy never started the clock.
Yeah, you never
Yeah.
started the
There's
clock.
0.8 seconds left.
But I mean,
That was tough, but that was a good game. The past 2 weeks, I think JV games have kind of.
Maybe we need to start streaming JV games.
I mean, hey,
need to.
they've
Real
been
talk,
crazy.
What I do is I set up early just in case it's close. And what you guys can start doing is streaming the last 2 minutes of the JV game to the test page. That way, if something crazy happens, we have it.
Or we can just film it like we did.
Or that too.
we
I don't
just
have that
filmed it.
luxury.
We just
of having
filmed it,
those
yeah.
folks
But Longview, y'all know y'all are catching up. But we,
Hey, but I just randomly I have the numbers pulled up. 24,000 people have. That's how much the reach that video has. It probably has 5,000 or 6,000 views now.
yeah, it had a bunch of views immediately. Like, as soon as you posted it, it went crazy. But that was wild. Unfortunately, they had 6 men on the court. Not often that you go draw up a play and it works perfectly. But I guess it can work if you got more people.
Sure, yeah.
You want to hear something random? Over the weekend, most viewed thing we did was the photos from the PG Liberty Ilo game at 28,000. Guess what's second most?
What?
Kellen Moore getting fired, 26,000.
A lot of Dallas fans.
Shout out to
happy about
RJ committed to SAU, 10,000.
that? Shout out RJ.
Corbin also committed to SAU this past weekend for football too.
Did they?
Yes,
they
he
didn't send
did.
nothing to me.
I thought that you would see it. You're a PG guy.
Marley Franklin had a not a triple option, a triple double, 6,000. Anyway, big weekend for
I wish
basketball.
Brandon was back here because I want to know. I didn't get to ask y'all Dallas fans how y'all felt about the Kellen Moore firing.
I feel no kind of way. It ain't gonna matter, man.
They
Like,
need a new voice. It is what it is.
it ain't gonna
And
matter.
that's the thing. Like
You got to blame it on somebody.
when Jerry hired McCarthy, he said, "This is your offensive coordinator."
Yeah.
And it never works that way. You know what I mean? So McCarthy's going to call plays. it's his last crack at it. At least, you know what I mean.
Does that make y'all better or worse?
You tell us, Doty. You know everything about him calling plays.
I mean, probably,
Worse in my opinion.
Probably better.
I've seen it
because
firsthand.
the sequencing, none of it made a whole lot of sense with Kellen Moore. Sometimes, like, just I think we'll, I mean, the ceiling is the ceiling, but we'll be a little bit better. But it's still not going to be enough. He'll go be the OC somewhere with a bunch of young talent and, you know, run
Throw the ball 60,
I think-
70.
run an awesome offense.
I think the
Maybe
Buccaneers
get
are
a
interested in Kellen Moore.
I thought I saw the Chargers too. That would
I
work.
mean,
but-
they probably both are. I mean, they both need an offensive coordinator. So.
Yeah.
Brady would definitely have to be. Looney says work. Chris Looney says it makes him worse. With McCarthy calling the plays. I think so
I think he
too.
won a Super Bowl calling the plays.
I mean, that was back when you could just do play action every play.
We also had an elite
Yeah.
team.
Also had A-Rod. Can't forget that.
What's he done since then?
Shout out Rockwall Game Day for tuning in. Who was that in the comments? Pena?
Yeah.
What's he talking about?
No comment from on my screen anyway.
Well, we got Buddy Shelton. The Cowboys had a JV playbook going against varsity playbooks.
How you feel about that?
I mean, it is what it is.
Is Buddy Shelton? Is Buddy Shelton one of y'all's friends from Longview?
Never
Nah,
heard.
he's
his
a
name.
hooks guy.
Oh, he's riding with Frank. I thought he was from Longview.
He's a hooks guy. He don't want to talk about Atlanta beating hooks.
Well, somebody's out
They
here
wanna-
speaking.
since he's
somebody's out
firing
here
shots,
speaking-
you know.
Speaking truth to
I
logic.
mean,
They gonna ride with me.
Is Hooks going to beat Atlanta when Atlanta comes to town? I don't know.
February 14th. We will be in the
Hooks has the
building.
last dubs.
What's
No
going on
love.
with Hooks in Atlanta? They got some basketball squads.
Yeah, they got some basketball squads. They got some great point guard play. They got some good play in the post. Like, I mean, it's good atmosphere.
They got some sophomores with some great talent.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be rocking in there. Hooks.
Third Boston, and he is
Really?
There's another Boston below him.
Yep, and she says she doesn't want anything to do with that.
Yeah,
that
you
little
know
round
that's
ball
going. You
game.
know that's going to change.
Hey, I feel it though. I mean, everybody plays.
Sometimes
Everybody
you're gonna be
plays
kicked out of the
basketball.
family,
You gotta,
shouldn't play.
you gotta switch it up sometimes. You might not want
Buddy, do you have the standings for that district real quick?
What else we got?
He said the Boston's the boys are
Does NASCAR
legit.
still exist? They still do that?
They're
Morgan
about
used
to
love
start back
NASCAR.
up.
Let me tell y'all, NASCAR may be relevant again.
to. Why?
This is wild.
They gonna turn left.
That's what they do now.
You mean right? You mean right?
Yeah.
So whether you
Making
like it or
another
not,
left turn.
NASCAR is always going to have its place.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, just like soccer. I mean,
I don't know.
I use soccer because it's the most boring sport.
A lot of those fans
Um,
still caught them Fed charges on the 6th a couple years
Hmm?
ago.
Okay. All right.
I'm joking. They may be out for a couple seasons.
Anyway,
Greg's not allowed to have a mic anymore.
they're starting their. They're going to
It's
race.
safer.
They're going to race.
Cam, it ain't that funny. You can get me in trouble over here. I
Oh,
always try to make
no.
Cam
They're
laugh.
gonna do what?
They're going to race at Rose Bowl.
They did that
Okay.
last year.
Did they do it last year?
Yeah, and
well, I mean, I don't keep up with
it.
it.
Was awful. I mean, it's not. I mean, it was a cool atmosphere, but I mean, that's not a venue to have a race.
Well, my point being is they're getting people to show back up.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's going to take them doing stuff like that, because I'm not going to go to Texas Motor Speedway. I'd go to Daytona, Talladega, or Bristol. That'd be about it. Maybe the Coca-Cola 600 because it's an all-star race and it's a night race at a cool venue. I might do that.
yeah.
I would go see a race. I mean, I'm not going to fly out there. If I lived there, I would go watch a race at the Rose Bowl. They're doing another one somewhere else in a football stadium or something.
I just think, how do you tie in the fans? Because I think that's where all the other sports are going to, is tying the fans into what's actually going on out there on the court or on the field or whatever. How can you do that with NASCAR?
It's when NASCAR was at its biggest and best. It wasn't about that. It was never about that. It was about the rivalries. It was about, you're either a Jeff Gordon fan or you're a Dale Earnhardt fan. Y'all have to hate each other.
Yeah.
Y'all have to hate each other.
I feel like they had more names back then. I mean,
Yeah,
you had Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. I mean, I feel like there was just more names that would draw you to NASCAR.
Well,
at that time.
whatever, they're bringing Jimmy Johnson back, so they worked out something financially. So they at least have that last name from those guys. He really isn't one of those guys, but
I mean,
you know,
had the Bush
he's
brothers
NASCAR
that were still
royalty.
there. The Bush brothers are still there. Denny Hamlin, who was young during that time, but I mean,
Yeah.
they're still there. But
I mean, I just don't. I mean, going forward, do I think NASCAR is going to be here 25 years from now? I don't know. I think it would be fun if every asphalt track they did a dirt track. I don't know how that would work.
like
it wouldn't
dirt
work with the
track
cars they have now, but they got to do something else.
Yeah, that's what they got to switch it up.
But NASCAR is a lot more. To the people that really care about it, they don't look at it like we look at it. Like it's not like going to. I'll go to races to watch people wreck. So that's just truth. So stat. I've been to 6 NASCAR races with no yellow flags. And you want to talk about terrible.
That's
Go to Talladega.
kind of
And you can't even see the other side of the track. It's so big.
Yeah.
And watch them race and never wreck at 8 years old.
Yeah, that's tragic.
For 4.5 hours. Just zoom, zoom. Hey, they do go fast, though, for real.
Buddy Shelton said it's 6-1 tied for first with Atlanta in the district.
How can they be tied for first with Atlanta if Atlanta beat them?
Atlanta already had one loss.
But they'll have the tiebreaker.
But Atlanta has a tiebreaker, buddy.
Well,
quit trying to put them in first place. They're in second place, buddy Shelton. Don't do that. They have the tiebreakers. Y'all get y'all's chance. What happens if they have the? What happens if
they go in?
If Atlanta beats Hooks or if Hooks beats Atlanta?
Go to point.
Well, I guess that would move them in first place if neither one of them have lost since then, because that would have Atlanta with two losses.
Yeah.
It's gonna come down. It's gonna come down to it, man.
Justin, he said the decline of masculine rednecks have hurt NASCAR. I don't see as many masculine rednecks as I used to.
True.
I don't see many people walking off with cut off T-shirts like I used to.
That's true.
He's got a point.
That's true. That's true.
Inflation got him. Those wife beaters about $8 a piece now.
I tell you, hey, let me tell you about me. I went to Walmart. You know, I was like, man, I need some wife beaters.
Oh, no.
So I go to Walmart. I get my wife beaters, get home or whatever. Sitting there, and Brooks like, oh hey, what did you buy your little cousin some shirts, whatever? I'm like, what did you mean? No, I just went and got me some tank tops, to go under my clothes or whatever. And she was like, oh, these are infant sizes or whatever, like some little baby wife beaters. Like, oh.
We do not condone the phrase wife beaters.
I don't like the name.
Yeah, let's change the name.
We gotta change. What are we changing the name to?
Let's just say
Tank
beaters.
tops. Well, white tank
NASCAR
tops.
fans.
Tank tops go on the outside.
No, NASCAR fans didn't wear the white tank tops. They bought the NASCAR shirt from the NASCAR trailer, cut the sleeves off in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's how that worked.
That's funny.
But what I'm saying
And
is
if they were really cool, they would cut like little strands in them. So it would like, you know what I mean? In the
Macho
wind, it
Man.
would get it. And then
Man.
they'd have the red all the way down their arm. Then they bought the NASCAR hats with the glasses and the beer things that went on the sides. That was NASCAR.
And that's what Pena's saying right here. He's saying it's something you should definitely experience. It wasn't about racing. It was about the party right outside the stadium.
I've experienced. I don't want to party with those people. We got different ideas of what a party is.
They go ham.
Well, I think it's kind of like the going to the mud runs.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really want to tear your equipment up, but you're there to watch everybody else do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's more about what it may be like. I mean, I don't know. I've never experienced a NASCAR party thing because I was young. But like we went to NASCAR race when I was younger, and we didn't fit that mold.
Yeah.
But there are, people. He can say whatever he wants, and he's right. The vast majority are in tents. But there are $1 million.
I didn't know you were headed with that.
$1 million motorhomes sitting out there. There's a reason that the condo thing on Texas Motor Speedway sold out in less than an hour.
Yeah.
Because people want to be a part of it. So it has its place. But yes, I would. When I think of NASCAR, I think of the redneck fans.
I think of the good old days. Like, remember when the movie Days of Thunder came out?
Yeah.
That was peak NASCAR for me.
Yeah, Ricky Bobby.
And peak NASCAR was still boring. But, like, I was not joking. I didn't know it exists still. You don't see it on TV.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's on TV. It's just Fox is blocked on a lot of stuff. Yeah. It is on TV.
Ricky Bobby.
It's just not. It's more about the car now, like you said. Like they have this next gen car, and they're always talking about the car and this and that. It's not about the
that Netflix show on F1.
Yeah, they've taken the racers. Away.
I love F1.
That's
what
NASCAR should have done. But I don't know if
F1
Tony Stewart ain't gonna hop on a treadmill and give you some oxygen levels.
F1 is an incredible sport. It's high intensity, and but you're not gonna have a yellow flag every single lap. It'll happen lap 1, and then from there it's strategy racing. When do we change our tires? When do we do this? What kind of tires are we using? Thinking about points. And their teammates battling for a company, and then it gets onto are the teammates fighting over certain positions? Is it more of a a team sport or is it an individual sport? Whenever you look at it, I mean, F1 gets a lot more complex.
Yeah, you've got to be an athlete to drive those cars.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
NASCAR, on the other hand,
No, NASCAR is just taxis.
I've seen Tony Stewart over the course of the last decade. You know what I mean?
Oh no,
What's
hold
your
on,
hate for Tony
Frank.
Stewart?
Because I see some of these baseball players don't look like
It's
athletes.
a lot of hate
Don't get
coming
me
from Tony
started.
Stewart too, though. What's your beef for Tony, man?
My
Tony
beef
Stewart
with
did
Tony
kill
is
a
he looks
person,
like he
so, I mean-
ate Crisco out of
Tony
the can
Stewart.
for
Hey, come on
decades
now,
straight.
let's be fair.
He killed a person.
Did the person run out on a raceway wearing all black?
Did he hit?
Did he run him over on purpose?
Did he hit?
No, the dude was on a racetrack.
Did he hit that person into the wall first, and then everybody else was diverting off the track while Tony Stewart was the only one that stayed clear on the track?
First off, he was in first place, and the
Uh-oh.
cars are way behind him. We can pull this video up right now. Tony Stewart was cleared of all that. He was not at fault for that guy's death.
Hey, so was OJ.
Think about where he was though too. Think about what state he was in.
Sure.
It doesn't, dude. Come
He's not
on
gonna
now.
kid-
There are so many videos of that. If you honestly believe he did that on purpose, he would be in prison.
Jennifer,
There was
you-
videos of it. This
You want to hop on?
this
Babe
was
Ruth also killed his wife. We'll talk about that too.
Oh, that's a Frank thing right there. That's
Do
baseball.
you think
all
Babe
day.
Ruth killed his wife?
What? 80 years ago. I don't
Did
know.
OJ kill his?
There's no
I mean, we're gonna
evidence.
talk about it all.
Do I think Babe Ruth killed his wife?
I don't even know anything about that, but nobody.
I believe it.
I didn't even know that Tony Stewart was in some entanglement.
Yeah, Buddy
Exactly.
Shelton
He was
said
hidden.
Better off talking about
that dude
Carol-
ran on the track and jumped at his car.
Because he got hit. Because he hit him off to
First
the side.
off, what kind of
he was
idiot
mad.
are you? And I
Yeah.
even forgot about this. He had meth in his system.
Oh,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
well, Frank did. Something.
Yes,
Who did?
He used to ride that
not
fence.
talking about Tony Stewart. We're talking about the other dude that died.
Oh,
not,
okay.
not saying that makes it okay, but I'm just saying he probably wasn't his right
Jody, you
frame
need
of
to
mind.
keep this
I've never
on
done
topic.
meth, but I'm assuming
Keep it on topic.
it's serious.
I mean,
It'll
we've
make
already-
you,
we've
it'll
already
make
gone
you
half
run
an
out on
hour
it'll make
longer
you
than
run
we
out
were
on a
supposed to.
NASCAR
Next
track.
question. Did Carol Baskin do it? Right.
The
they
Carol
find
Baskin
Carol
do it. Hey,
Baskin's
that
husband?
came out. That came out recently.
The husband's alive.
Yeah.
He's been
No,
alive this
I ain't
entire
seen no
time.
pictures of him. I've just seen the news stories.
It doesn't matter if you've seen pictures. He's still alive.
Hold up.
Who says he's alive?
Who
No,
said-
He,
I thought-
he has said that he's alive. I'm pretty sure. Who? The husband.
In
has
what?
said-
No, but
like,
nobody's seen him on TV. Nobody's seen a picture of him. Why are you rolling your eyes? That matters.
Did he-
You can't
did-
trust
did the
news.
husband post
Are
the
you telling
video?
me you trust everything you read on the news?
You are the one that's been
Here we
this
go.
entire time that we do the show. Oh, let me look
Now
it up
we're-
on the
now we're
internet.
getting somewhere.
Like I mean,
Look it up.
you are the
Look it
only
up.
one. I like that.
But this is what I'm
what's
saying
his
right
name?
here. Did the Carol Baskin situation? Did the husband come out and make a video? Because that's the only reason I believe the other situation was the video.
Somebody, hey,
Carol Baskin claims in big
Quotes.
quotes, air quotes.
I like how Morgan.
Her
Morgan goes to the Google.
dead husband is alive and well. Yeah, let's just take that to the bank.
Yeah.
there's a lawsuit going around. He's trying to get his money. He's trying to get his funds back.
Oh, okay. He's getting sued. He's suing Carol.
The Inquirer claims he's alive. Newsweek claims he's alive. Days D Digital claims he's alive.
Morgan,
I don't see TV Insider claims he's alive.
you're telling us some stuff without telling us some stuff. The algorithm feeds him this. I hop on Google, give me the Associated Press. I'm joking. Carol Baskin's husband is not alive.
Hey, Carol Baskin,
you're
Babe
watching-
Ruth wouldn't make a
you're
high
watching-
school roster nowadays.
It's
Hey,
all-
talk about it, Josh.
It's all
That's
opinion.
what I stand on. I ain't gonna say I hate. That's a big strong word. I dislike a lot of the old players, man. I mean, I respect y'all for what y'all did coming
You
back in the
should.
day. You had
I mean,
less technology, but
I don't
y'all are
blame you.
trash. Y'all were really peons players in today's game. I mean, let's be real.
Just like any other sport, you can't compare those athletes to today. You just can't.
I mean, if I had the opportunity to hit lefty in the polo grounds, I mean, I would obviously be hitting bombs anyway too. But I mean,
Still don't nobody want to fight Coco Crisp.
Coco Crisp, my God.
I do could play some center field.
But that's all I'm saying. That's a good point right there. Old athletes are garbage, really. All
With
the
the
way.
exception
That's
of
his
Bo.
personal opinion.
With the exception of who? Bo.
not the
Yeah,
opinion
Bo
of
is,
Gameday.
Yeah, I
Bo,
give
Bo
Bo
is
props.
trans generational.
Did y'all watch that Nolan Ryan documentary on Netflix?
I did.
no.
I mean,
I
it's
didn't.
kind of a fluff piece, but it'll bring back some memories. Maybe not for you guys, y'all weren't
Yeah.
alive, but like,
So what? So before we get out of here, this the last little topic we'll hit before we go.
let's keep it light.
What type of player? Oh, it's like what type of players do y'all think, or not? What type of player? Which players do y'all think across all sports could cross generations?
All right, so give me a random sport.
All right, baseball.
Of course, you would say baseball. Give me another sport.
Football.
Football.
To answer your question, probably hockey, because there's not a whole lot of athleticism required to be skating around like a figure skater. You know what I mean? Like that.
I think I'm not a hockey fan, but that is a bad generalization of hockey.
It's the truth. I don't
That is,
consider it a sport.
that is a terrible.
And I don't consider them athletes. I'm just gonna be real. I'm looking at you.
You can skate in 1960. You can skate in 2020.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ice ain't changed.
But the athletes are much bigger, stronger, and faster. Let's keep that in mind.
They're not athletes, but I got what you're saying.
Wow.
Ain't no Russian dude gonna play.
My skates.
Ain't no Russian dude gonna play in the NFL.
Nobody's ever said Frank was an athlete.
Ain't nobody ever said he isn't either.
Hey, he said LT. Which one? Which LT?
Well,
I mean, are you going to consider LaDainian Thompson last generation?
I mean, Doty. I mean, how many times you
I
can see him play?
didn't get to see him play.
That's what I'm saying. We're there. We're there.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Whenever I was
Yeah.
truly watching football, I didn't get to watch LaDainian Tomlinson.
So all my buddies in a group chat trying to figure out why these kids aren't committing to the
Okay.
Longhorns, and I'm like, hey, y'all do realize the last time we were relevant, they weren't born yet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Any
Time's
quarterback,
flying,
any
man.
quarterback in the '90s would not play in today's NFL.
I'm saying who would? Who can?
I mean, let that sink in.
Yeah.
Troy Aikman is not a starting quarterback in today's NFL.
Michael Vick. Michael Vick is the starting quarterback today.
That's not a '90s quarterback.
When did he start?
It's early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Did
when
he?
did he start? Wait, Doty.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he 2000s for sure.
I mean,
He said you called NASCAR drivers athletes, but not hockey players.
I didn't. What?
Oh, I'm sorry, F1.
Okay, yeah.
He calls race drivers athletes,
mean-
but not hockey players.
I mean, would Emmitt Smith be a starting running back in the NFL right now?
Probably not. No.
I don't think so.
A lot of people don't think he should have been back then.
Hey,
They think
Leon
he's
Lett
just
can play whenever he wants.
Barry Sanders would.
Barry Sanders, I think, is cross generational.
But do we put Barry Sanders on a pedestal because he was on a terrible team and he quit early and we
I
never
think
really
what he
got to
could do.
see?
I think
Like his highlights are great.
That's what I'm saying. I think
I mean,
the
he
stuff
did it
could
at
do-
What did he
Oklahoma
accomplish
State,
while he
too.
was in the
Yeah,
NFL?
I agree with you on that. The stuff that he could do. Who was Cordell Stewart?
I don't know.
Wait, somebody said
Buddy
who's that?
Shelton said Cordell.
Well, he spelled it wrong, but he's probably got to be talking about Cordell.
He wasn't a good quarterback back then, so he wouldn't be one today.
Yeah, I don't think he can
No.
go. I don't know he can do it.
I mean, Dion, I think that goes without saying, Josh. I like that you brought it up.
Yeah, Deion.
But it goes without saying, like primetime, in my opinion,
So prime time.
is on the Mount Rushmore
Yeah.
of football.
I mean, well, then
That's your best
Shannon
bet.
Sharp could play
And
today.
Shark can play tight end.
I think
today.
there's like a tight end position I think can go.
Yeah.
I don't think the guys in the 60s
Tight
and
end and
70s,
secondary
but
players
around
are probably
90s when they
easiest
started
to
getting
transition.
big
Yeah, like Tony
and
Gonzalez.
athletic,
Yeah.
Tony Gonzalez could
He can
play.
play today.
Jason Witten, as slow as he was great. He
Yeah,
could play.
I mean, Gonzalez did play in this era, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see Tony Gonzalez play for the Falcons.
Cordell Walker, Texas Ranger homeboy. With that Cordell.
Cordell from Walker, Texas Ranger.
Hey, no, I was just had somebody before you said that. Crazy.
I got one that can play any generation
All right,
for the rest of the time of football. Mike Allstott.
Mike Allstott, but the fullback is dead now, kind of.
Is it? Because the fullback's in the Pro Bowl every year, the 49ers fullback.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think
Like
so.
some
I
of
like
those-
him. I like him.
some
Ray
of those
Lewis, that's a good one.
Some of those old
Ray
school
Lewis got to
safeties.
get his cover game up a little bit better.
Ray
too,
Lewis was not
today.
good in coverage, but
That's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
he's on the Mount Rushmore.
Troy Polamalu.
Troy Polamalu, could, but he would get kicked out. But yeah,
He'd be playing.
Oh yeah,
he'd be
I
playing
don't know
linebacker.
if Troy Polamalu. It would be tough for him right now. I mean, his entire game was trying to murder people.
if anybody if that was your game was knocking people out and not really playing the ball, you really kind of X'd out right now.
Man, God, this is so disrespectful.
Uh-oh.
I
like
Well, it was one of my favorite
killer.
players, but I'm going blank on his name
That's
right
the
now.
That's the third episode in a row that we've mentioned Aaron Hernandez. Like, this has got to stop.
I think his football play got overshadowed by all the extra. I mean, he was good. He was really good.
What do you mean think? Of course it did.
Obviously.
He's in jail for murder.
And then
M1.
killed himself.
They strung him up.
Yeah, they strung him up, man. That was
I
not
don't
good.
think he
But
did.
Frank, baseball, give me some baseball guys that could cross over.
Oh boy, there ain't a whole lot of them. That just isn't.
You know who else might not
Not happening.
transition? It would have been Sean Taylor.
Yeah, because his ability to
I think
smash.
Ken Griffey could.
I mean, what do
I
you
think,
mean by
hey,
transition?
y'all can't go say-
he ain't
hey,
gonna be a goat if he's playing.
Big Poppy 1-9, baby. No, I'm playing. His ain't 1-9, but Big Poppy, he could.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He could DH in any era. Let's go, baby.
Must have Frank Thomas,
That's my
Nolan
guy.
Ryan.
Frank Thomas, woo.
Those dudes aren't that old.
They're not that old, but I mean, they were playing way back then.
Ortiz retired like 4 years ago.
But he started playing in the 90s.
no, the
Yeah.
90s.
No, I don't know when he started playing. I was young, super young.
Randy
How old are you?
Johnson
29.
probably could be a good starter.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, you can
Again,
throw a
not that
100.
old.
You can throw a
I
100.
think starters.
I think y'all are
are
talking like
easy.
players in the 70s and the 80s.
I mean,
guys
just-
in the 2000s. Could
I don't know about
I'm
that
just speaking
far.
to our base. You know, we got a lot of fans in high school right now. Doty's the youngest, in the room, and he didn't watch these guys that we're talking about play. I mean, Big Papa he did, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
like
I got to watch 3 championships. Yes, Bo Jackson. That's without a doubt.
Bo Jackson go anyway. What about this is my
You
biggest one
disagree
right
with
here.
that?
This is my biggest.
Whoa,
This
hold on. He made a face. You disagree with Bo Jackson?
Well, let me ask you this: you've never seen Bo Jackson play. Why do you think he can? Is it because everybody you've ever came in contact tells you that?
No,
or is it because you know that? Because Bo didn't really jump from the 3-point line and dunk a basketball. I'm sorry.
He never
I'm
played
sorry to break
basketball.
that to y'all. That didn't happen.
But
See
I
what
mean-
I'm talking about? It's like the fish you caught 20 years ago. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
but 4-3 is 4-3.
What we do know is he didn't have a great NFL career.
I can go and
Did
watch.
he even have a great baseball career?
But
Why
you
are we
can-
hyping this dude up
But
so
you
much?
can go and watch him.
Tim Tebow didn't have a great NFL career, but we hyping him up. What are we talking
Who's he talking about?
He
Tim
said
Tebow.
Tim Tebow.
But I mean, you can go and watch him, and you can look
Hold
at him
on.
and just the way that he performs, and be like,
Tim
he
Tebow is a
is.
sore spot with me. Who said Tim Tebow?
Well, you missed it last week, but yeah, Cam said Tim Tebow. He said Tim Tebow didn't have that great of a NFL career, but people hype him up.
Oh, yeah, he's terrible, but yeah.
about? Supposedly, Tim Tebow is the best college football player ever.
He's pretty good. Was.
He's
College football player, yeah.
He's been voted that. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, he's objectively true. Yeah, I thought you. Were
Hey,
talking
I
about-
told you why I think he got voted there. But anyway,
Wow, what do you say?
back to what Doty was just saying.
And you don't think he was one of the first players to be in an
He's
advertisement?
getting compared to everybody. His 4 years are getting compared to everybody else's 2 and 3. I think that's trash. Of
I'm
course
talking
he
about.
got
I'm
better.
talking about Bo Jackson. I'm back
Oh,
on Bo
okay, okay,
Jackson.
okay, back to
The
Bo.
Bo Nose campaign was the second time a player was using an advertisement ever. Like,
Made him.
and I mean, that's
Hold
just
on.
we got to keep in
That
mind.
can't be true.
Hey, Pena says he's the best because you couldn't tackle Bo in Tecmo Bowl.
I mean,
I feel like he was hyped up a lot.
You look at him, and he looks like the best athlete on the field at
Yeah.
any point.
From just the sample size that I've seen of just the tape that they have
I've watched-
around and stuff like that.
I've watched highlights, Brandon. We have this thing called YouTube. I don't know if
the
you've ever
thing.
heard of it.
In his entire career in the NFL, in 4 years, he never rushed for 1,000 yards.
I understand.
I mean, like, and we're acting like this
I gotta
dude is
stop you
just.
for a second. Keep in mind he shared a backfield with a Hall of Fame running back. That's gonna take away some of that.
Hey, but this is also what I gotta say. You just take away his.
He
just
averaged less than 3 yards a carry.
break it down to the bare bones. Break it down to the bare bones. All right. We know what kind of body he had. We know what I'm saying. We know how big he was, and then he ran a 4.3, and then he was also a good enough athlete.
No, he run 4.1.
See what I'm talking about?
No,
Do you see what I'm
Brandon,
saying?
he
He
didn't
said
run
he
a
ran a
4.1.
4.1.
He did not run
It
a
is like
4.1,
they
Brandon.
make this stuff
No,
up.
He ran like a 4.3. He ran a 4.3. 4.3 official.
Hundreds of reputable sources claim that he was clocked sub 4.2 on multiple occasions.
Well, that ain't what they got up.
They also claim he ran a 9.4300, which would be almost a world, or is that a
the
world
dude
record?
Was a freak athlete.
Like, and there's a reason it's not a world record because it didn't happen. Like, people are just going on his Wikipedia page and putting wild stuff in here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm saying right here. He ran. I'm gonna say 4.3 because that's what
They
the
said
most
his high
credible
jump was
was.
9'9". They literally just get here lie about stuff. His Wikipedia page is made up.
Hey, look, we have seen him jump over an MLB wall.
It
We have
says
seen
he
him
ran a
jump-
4.02 40-yard dash.
We have see that's fake. We have seen him jump over an MLB wall. You know what I'm saying? We
Kind of ran up it, but whatever.
whatever. We know how athletic he was, regardless of what his numbers say. We know how athletic he was, and I think that would transfer. But what I'm getting to,
But
the reason I
it
brought
would
this
not
up,
transfer to baseball. He would never.
but no,
make
I'm just
the
saying
Major League
athlete in
roster.
football.
Fair enough. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying right here.
No, he couldn't.
I
hit.
brought that up to say this, guys, to end the show off on a high note, because I know this is going to be great. Jerry Rice. That's why I brought this up. Jerry Rice is being questioned as if he is cross-generational. Would Jerry Rice would he just be a receiver in the NFL today? Would he be Jerry Rice, as we know, as what we think of him
Man,
as? in the
my
NFL today?
issue with that generation's offense is it wasn't as complex as this one is now. It was like if you were the one receiver, you were running a post, you were running a go. There wasn't all this, we're going to try to mix defenders up to create a hole for you to get through and have 4 or 5 yards on your dude. To answer your question, I don't know. Nothing about him is statistically great. He ran like a 4.6 or 4.7 40, right? Yep. That's not a one receiver in the NFL. Who's he going to run from?
Exactly.
But you let an old timer tell you all he do these kids dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you who he didn't do dirty.
Dion.
And
that's my whole argument right there. Once the corner started, which I know he was on the end of his career too, but once the corner started getting more athletic, he kind of dwindled down a little bit.
Yeah,
But I just
another
think
thing, keep in mind, physically he wasn't the greatest athlete on the field, but he had the luxury of playing his entire career with quite literally two of the best quarterbacks to ever live. So they had that connection. Like he
But are
was
they,
able,
though?
like they just knew Jerry's gonna find this. Where's Jerry? He found the hole in the zone. He's open. Like they had that connection. You didn't have to worry about beating his man because he had that connection with the QB.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think
He didn't have
Whole 8-toe don't
Neil
play.
McDonald throwing the ball. Neil O'Donnell, remember him? Just trying to think of a random '80s quarterback.
no, he had some great QBs. I just think what Morgan brought up was my sole reason for it. I mean, a 4.6, even a 4.5, it's
not
gonna hurt
elite.
you
Sure.
as a one receiver.
That's not elite in any generation.
Exactly.
No one's
So,
saying he'd be an elite number one receiver nowadays.
I mean,
but,
a lot of people are.
I mean,
A lot of people are. A lot of people think that he's the
if
GOAT.
Cole Beasley's getting 13 targets a game in Buffalo, Jerry Rice going to get his.
They're saying that he's the GOAT. No, because this comes up with the GOAT conversation in football, or a receiver anyway. If Jerry Rice is the GOAT, but we have a room full of people right here saying that he won't even cross generations, how can you be the GOAT?
Let's do this. Who's the GOAT receiver? We'll end the show on this. Give me your GOAT receiver.
Let me
I gotta go,
reframe the question, right? The peak season, if you had to pick one receiver to build your roster around.
I already got mine. It don't matter how you max it up. It's Randy.
Randy Moss.
Yeah, it don't matter how you max it up.
You got Randy?
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
You got Randy. I bet you money me and him have the exact same person.
It's peak Megatron.
That's who I got, Megatron.
Okay.
It's Megatron.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew ours were going to be the same.
There's
think
only
that's
one
fair.
guy between Randy and him for me, and that's Pete
T.O.
T.O. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
That's
are
a
three
good.
for me.
Hey, you got
That's
it.
about
Those are
That's
all,
a solid top
You know what I'm
three.
saying? Then we can talk about Julio too.
That's
if you want to,
crazy
but,
how I just because we're about the same age,
he said
I
Michael
knew ours
Thomas.
was going to be. Dude, Megatron.
Megatron was lit.
You've never
Dude,
seen
if he was
anything like
anywhere
this.
but
Did you say
Detroit.
Michael Thomas?
Yeah. got a Saints
Whole
fan in the
slant
house.
boy?
Got a Saints fan in the house.
We're talking about slant boy.
We're talking about the biggest
Hey, Megatron.
man on the field running 4.35s.
Yeah.
People. Just not, and
Hey,
had-
he's having
and
real
had
bad. He's having
literal
real bad.
garbage
He's having
thrown
real
to him his
bad
whole life.
back problems right now.
I mean, carried a team for 10 years.
Yeah, he's having real
Eventually,
bad
that
back problems.
starts to hurt.
I'm saying legitimate. Like
Catching
might
touchdown
not be
passes
able to
from
walk
Joey
in a
Harrington.
few years. Back problems right now. That's why he got out of the NFL so early.
Do we think like a guy like Justin Jefferson has the ability to get up there in our minds?
No, because there was swag involved in that. I mean, there was just so much more than just being a football player.
You don't think Justin Jefferson has like one of the?
That's what he's saying. Justin Jefferson has the swag.
Oh,
effect,
okay.
too.
Like Randy Moss would be on ESPN for stuff other than football. Megatron, same thing. You got to have the swag to go with it.
Oh, you're saying that Justin Jefferson doesn't have the
Justin
swag to go
Jefferson
with it? I thought you
No,
were
no,
saying
no.
that
That's
he has
not,
more.
I'm just saying
Oh, okay.
those two guys. That's what sets them apart
Yeah,
from everybody.
I think the guys of this generation are going to be Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Those two guys are Cooper Kupp does not have the swagger like that.
Put it to bed.
But like can talk it and back it up, and like Megatron never really even
He
talked
didn't
it.
talk it. He didn't
He
have
was
to.
just
Yeah.
you turn on the screen and he looked like somebody created a player and made him a foot taller than everybody else and threw him out there.
Exactly.
And made his speed 99.
Yeah.
You know that every on Thanksgiving they always have the robot turkey during the games or whatever. I just remember as a kid being like they made that turkey off of Calvin Johnson. Like that they took his body.
Hell, you're
and
probably
made
right.
the turkey.
Let's finish this up.
But yeah, that's all I got for today. If y'all got any last words y'all want to put out there?
No, I'm all good.
Where we going this week? Do we know where we're going this week?
Well, tonight y'all are going to Walker's game at 5:30.
Okay.
Texas High Soccer.
I'm going to
Remember?
Texas High versus Longview Soccer.
Texas High Longview Soccer, get out and watch.
Nobody
Girls
wants to
or
watch
boys?
come with the Bucks play tonight. Watch me get my 8th season dub,
Eighth
or
season
9th
dub.
season dub.
We'll see. My kids love basketball, so we'll see how it goes. Hey, what time is that game at?
What time is what? Oh, 5:30.
And that's girls or boys?
Girls.
Soccer?
Girls is here. Guys will be at Longview either today or tomorrow. I don't know about that
Hey,
yet.
girls
They want to know. They
soccer.
want to know the spread on the Bucks win tonight. I really don't know who we're playing.
These Bucks
I think
by
that, I
15
know it's the
tonight.
Red Raiders, but I don't know. I don't remember if they're. Y'all know my memory's terrible. I don't remember if they're great or not. I saw they're like 4-2 or 4-3 or something. So I'm gonna be humble. I ain't gonna do a spread today.
No spread on the bus game. You got to bet it
Chris,
straight up.
Chris, I might get a wild hair and just let Walker play point guard all night. You don't ever know. You know, might let Walker get out there and see if he can get him a bucket. Give him 4 quarters to try.
Game day playing point guard. Hey, Chris Looney says, hey, it is what it is. Put him out there.
There's going to be a bunch of double dribbles and travels called.
You really want to do him dirty, put Will out there at point guard.
Hey, that's 5 fouls in 2 minutes. Guaranteed.
Baby Will wild these days.
Hey, man, we appreciate everybody tuning in to the show today. Hey, get out and watch support those girls over at Grimm today. Texas High taking on the Longview Lobos coming to town. Frank, we appreciate
who you got, Cam? Or who you got tonight?
What? On what?
In the soccer game.
Soccer.
I don't know, but this is the only show that no one's brought y'all lunch, and I'm disappointed. It's the only reason I came.
Hey, yeah, nobody
Get used to
nobody fed us today, so maybe next week or next time we come on, we can have somebody bring us some lunch through.
But
hey, but you just know if you bring us lunch,
Longview.
it will be rated. It will be rated on live 1 through 10 scale. Nothing too crazy. You know, just let everybody know what you got going on.
You start off with a 5 because you brought us lunch.
There you go.
You got a microphone, I don't. Look into the camera and tell them, K-Cast.
Oh yeah, Cake House. Y'all just opened up over in Wake Village. You know, we got a Wake Village resident sitting right here to my left in Zach Doty. So y'all come through with some Cake House. We'll
I just got the monitoring weather email
monitoring
from the school.
Uh-oh.
They're actively monitoring the weather.
Hey, weather's about to get a little nasty, y'all. They're moving up
Is it?
games. They
They
moved the game.
moved the game today.
Yeah. They
It's
moved
like
the
snowing
game
there.
up, so hey, y'all be careful. I'm your local meteorologist, you know.
Goodness gracious.
No, I'm just playing. Hey, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. My man Frank Slides came down from Longview. I'm Nick Reed. That's Zach Doty. We got Mr. Gameday himself, Morgan Smith, Cam Sullivan behind the computer, Brandon Lewis giving the 1s and 2s every now and then. And then we also got Miss Gameday. We'll be back next episode with her crazy purchases from Amazon. Until then, man, this is The Drop. We'll see y'all next time.